All right. Well, hopefully everyone's having a great Saturday. Not sure where that got moved, but alrighty. See if we get a few people in here. We're up. We're running. Excellent. All right. Well, got all my business done for the day. I wish some of it had have actually involved the local fish store, but it did not. There we go. Awesomeness. There we go. Well, we got a few people here. Hello, folks. How are you doing today? Had a pretty good morning. Moving on with a pretty good evening, I hope. That's what I was looking for. There we go. Excellent. Get a few people in, get our chat going.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, hey guys, sorry about that. Didn't mean to be away that long. Thought I had the files, and I did not. Was trying something there in the background. So how you guys
Always the
doing,
way.
Tony, Dr.
Not too
Welsh?
bad. Had a pretty good day, to tell you the truth.
Did ya?
Pretty good. A friend of mine was getting rid of a load of live rock rubble, which I can't understand why he lets you do that. So I asked him what he's going to do with it. So he said, I'm just going to throw it away. I said, well, I'll take it. You never have too much, can you?
Not really. No, especially if you could let it clean off and excuse me, and cure out. You're fine. Yeah.
That's it. Well, at the bottom of the bucket when he brought it around, there were it's very tiny. I mean, a tiny. It's more like a pebble. I found what looks like. I need to get it ID'd still, but what looks like a green goblin, acan.
Really?
What's it called? Micro Musa. Yeah.
Huh. Really now?
Wait, look. Yeah.
Did you put it in your tank? Keep it alive, of course,
I
I'm guessing?
well, I fragged it. So obviously I don't want it on the live rock, on the
No.
rubble.
Exactly.
Dipped it, frag plugged it, dipped it again, and then straight in the tank.
Real. Well, I mean, if it looks like an acan and talks like an acan, it's probably an acan. But chances are you might have just got lucky. I've had that happen a couple of times. Like, just went to do something and, tear down someone's tank or whatever the case may be. Same kind of idea. And wound up with rainbow acans. And I should have kept them, but no, I sold them. Yeah.
So, and then the price goes up. And
Oh,
you sit there
yeah,
and
and
think,
you're like, God damn.
why?
Yeah.
Why?
You end up pulling a homer. Oh, yeah, no.
But it's feeding, which shows a good sign. It
Yeah.
has full coloration, tentacles out.
There you go.
So perfect.
Yeah.
But this bucket, it's been sitting in this bucket for a month with only light shining through the window. So that just shows you, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. No, we've talked about that before. If it wants to live, it will live. As long as the conditions aren't so extreme, they generally will pull in through. Yeah, thank you, Tim, unfortunately. And I can't find my list, guys. I know it's here. Right, my email list. I can't find it. I went to that. That's what I was doing at the other computer. I was like, I'm going to get that list, so I can just do that right now. Nope. And how you doing, Cruz? He's muted. I don't know why, but he's muted.
Muted.
There we go.
I was listening to the live stream yesterday while I was in the bath, and my missus turned around and went, Cruz sounds like a really intelligent guy. I went, no, he's just blagging it like the rest of us.
Pretty much. Yeah. He's one of us. One of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's 90% bullshit, 10% is all the mistakes you've made.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, well, he might be 10% of that and 20% intelligence, and then the rest is bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all hovering around 1 or 2% intelligence. Yeah. I swear to God, I'm just 2 steps above the troglodyte. So,
Well, the amount of money we spend, it's not debatable, is it?
Oh, it's insanity. If you really think about it, even us that are doing it on a budget. Like I said to a friend, if you're doing it on a budget and you stick to that, it's one thing. You never stick to it.
No.
You'll go to a shop. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, the thing is, we're on a budget, on a shoestring, but how much equipment do we buy, and it ends up in the cupboard?
Oh, there's that too. Yeah, let's not even go there.
Yeah.
There are pieces of equipment that I have that I'm looking at and I'm going, why did I get that again? Oh, right, that's supposed to be for the quarantine tank I never set up, or, that kind of thing, right? Everyone asks me why I don't have another tank. I'm like,
You got the equipment for it.
Yeah.
I think I've got four 4-foot tanks upstairs, 4 2x2s. and do you know they're not even cleaned. Not even cleaned.
Well, that's an awkward
Someone's
tank to
selling them.
clean.
Someone was selling them for £5, and I looked and thought, do you know what? Even the glass worth more than that.
Oh, it is. On a 4x2x2? Yeah, it certainly is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. They've not even had a reseal. They're just sitting there.
Yep. Oh, cable management's the whole. I've got mine mostly cleaned up. I say mostly because there's that one little pile that goes to the electronics cupboard, and I'm like, like, oh, I just don't want to finish that. And somebody's like, why? Because I got to get in there and tear it down. I got to move it here. I got to do that. And I laid out my management in the cupboard one way, and now I'm sitting there going, no, should have done it this way. Damn it.
Yep.
So.
The thing is, when you first do it, it's neat. But when you start thinking about all the adapters you got to start adding, we need to start adding an extension lead. It just doesn't work out.
No. It's like the power bar for the Reef Keeper. The plugs stick out too far once they're plugged in to close the door. And I got lucky. There's enough room that I could turn it and put it to the left side, and plug in that way, and it will still close. So I'm like, okay, that worked out. But that threw everything else out of whack. Right.
Yeah.
So the minute I did that, and I had to reroute and everything, so I just haven't gotten around to it. And it's been a year.
Yeah.
Right, but no. So now it's like, okay, I'll get around to it. It's good.
What Reef Keeper have you got?
I've got the light is what I had.
Right.
I've had it up past that a little bit with some stuff that I had gotten, and I had a pretty decent year when I just before I started the 120. When I got the 120, I ended up putting myself behind the 8-ball a little bit, and that's when everything kind of went to hell that year. So it's like, here we go, and so I sold some stuff off because people wanted them. I never did get up to the SL2 V2 module, which is the salinity, pH, and temperature one, but I'll get there, or I'll wind up with a new system at some point, whether it's an Apex or it's that new. CJ pointed it out yesterday, and I was looking at it. It's pretty interesting, and it's pretty affordable. I'm going to call it the Reef Keeper killer, because if those guys get off the ground, they'll be the affordable system. They're only cheaper by about $200-300, but.
What system's that, mate?
I was looking yesterday. I wonder if I go to my videos, because that should be up there. Give me a sec here. Let's see if we can find that, because he was talking about it, and he had a link. So now it's like, oh, I got to go copy that link.
Because the Reef Keeper, we can't get that. We can only get the newest model.
Yeah.
And that's only like, I think it works out like £50 less than an Apex. And you sit there and think, no, you might as well get an Apex.
Well, it comes with everything, so you might as well get the Apex, right? Whereas the Reef Keeper, you're fighting with it the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Is it that one or this one? Let's have a look at this one. That's the 19th. Today is it? No, it would have been the 20th. So hold on. Is it this one? I think it would have been.
I've put you on the spot now, haven't I?
And that was. Oh, that was today. Oh, my wife's telling me I make good coffee. That's a good sign, right?
That is a very good sign. You're doing something right, mate. You're doing something right. It's better than doing something wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So is that one, that one. Is it that one? Holy crap, I'm going to have to find that now.
It's gonna bug you.
I wonder if I just go to Video Manager. So it must have been on the 2019, because I didn't stream yesterday, or did I? I thought I did.
Hey, check your PayPal.
Oh, I will do that, sir. I'll find it later. Oh God, hold on, guys. I'm now. Hey, Blinky. Hey, Tim. Tim, I might have to send you your link again. In fact, I'm going to do that before I do anything else because I know you want to get in here and jibba jabba. There we go. That should get him kicked off. There we go. So yeah, I'll find that at the same time too. Let's see here. So. There's that. That's done. And let's go in here. Let's find out. New aquarium controller, maybe. E-Coral? Is that it? Is that the one? And coral spelt with a K, so it's like E-Coral.
E-Coral.
Yeah, E-Coral. I got a link here. Hold on. Go away. I don't want you. There we go. Pop over here. I'll put a shortener on it. Here you go, folks. You can have a look at this.
Look at this. Oh, it looks smart, doesn't it?
There we go. Yeah, it looks pretty slick, actually. You know what I mean? Like, it actually looks pretty good, actually. So.
It does. Look at that power bar.
Yep.
They've actually got the plug sockets the right way round. Now, anyone that's got a controller with a power bar knows what I mean. When you've got those big sockets, like a J-Mo.
Room.
Yeah.
And the LAN controller is right in it, so the whole thing is actually, that's not just a power bar, that's also the brain. You'll see the LAN network port and the 2.1 USB, like, you know,
like
Wi-Fi, and it's Wi-Fi. And it's Wi-Fi. Holy jeez. Yeah, there we go. All built in too, so, yeah, and the asking price isn't really that exorbitant, to be honest. It's not bad. Hey, Raven, how you doing, buddy?
Have they got the price on here?
I don't know if they do or not. I wonder if... Oh, what did I do to my chat? Oh, of course I redirected.
Well, I found a website for it.
Wow, I totally screwed up the chat. That's alright, guys. I'll fix it. I don't know how I did that, but I can watch it another way anyway. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Cruz. I appreciate that. How are you feeling? Are you still at the, what do you call it? The hospital? Getting yourself checked out? Or are you home resting? What's going on? A little concerned, actually.
It's not actually out yet.
No, it is not. So what's going on with this stupid thing?
But $900 for the complete setup with all the probes.
With all the probes, yep.
Yeah, which is a really good deal. Even level 7 looks good.
That it does, eh? Looks really good, actually.
That is competition. That is true competition.
So how's everybody in the chat doing? I went and clicked on my link, and now it's screwed up my chat showing in my OBS, and I can't remember how to get it to show. I'm like, okay. Yeah.
I've been given an impossible task tomorrow. It's not really impossible. A friend of mine with his 8x2x4, yeah,
Right.
wants to improve his flow through the tank and the sump. He's only got it going for a 1-inch outlet and a 1/2-inch inlet. Believe it or not. Which I said to him when he done it, oh, it's too small. It's too small. You need at least 3 outlets, at least 3 on an 8x2x4, at least 3.
Well, you can get away with 2, but you're going to be adding wave makers to do that for you. So
yeah. So what he wants to do, what he wants me to do, and I've given up all responsibility and said I will not take no part because your tank will not crack, it will shatter. Is he wants to empty the tank halfway through and then drill it.
what? He wants to leave it set up and drill it? Is that what you just said?
Yep.
No, that's a really, really, really bad idea.
I told him
he could improve flow with bubbling.
Yep, bubble it.
Yeah.
Uses one. The very, very small bubbles will reach. It will get the oxygenation that he needs. You don't need flow. Remember, you don't need flow. You need oxygenation. That's the whole point of flow, is to get the oxygenation there. But if you get the oxygenation there with the bubbles, or the smallest bubbles, then you'd be fine. Do you know what I'm saying?
His problem is he knows best. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, I'll watch his
tank explode.
yeah. It's one of those. He's one of those that he knows best. He wants more holes. Even though I said to him, put more holes in. If you don't use them, you don't use them. You use them as a redundancy.
What doesn't he do a top back? You know,
top it.
Go over Instead of freaking drilling, put it in a freaking box, right? An acrylic box. You know, it will hold the return heads up against the glass. He'd be able to do it that way.
That'd be a better idea.
Instead of drilling through.
Oh, you went robot on us, buddy.
There's no reason.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, go in through the top with the YouTube or something. You know what I'm saying, and then connect up. The return nozzles.
Yeah,
a lot easier.
That makes a lot of sense. I didn't even think about an overflow box.
Yeah.
Even just
you're hiding it. Yeah, you're hiding it.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's all you're utilizing that overflow box for, is to hide the return nozzles.
Yeah.
How you doing, Raven?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Not too bad. If I could figure out how to get my I don't need a live chat overlay. I need my live chat back. I just set it up. What the hell did I do? I clicked on something. Now I got a web page in there instead of the chat. Don't know what I did, but I did something. No, that's not it. No, going live.
Hey,
oh well, I'll figure it out.
Hey, Raven.
There he is.
Raven. Good evening.
Evening. Mr. Nick, how you doing? How y'all doing?
We're doing good. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I got a question.
Shoot.
Okay. You know, I have the new tank, and I did the ATM colony on it, and it's been going, let's see, 2 weeks now, I guess. I have one Radion light, and I'm waiting on another one to come in that I purchased, a used one. But in the time being, I wanted Well, actually, I was starting out. I didn't want to put any light on it for a while, but my Rasta seemed confused. So
Oh.
I found. Well, they don't know when the daytime and when the nighttime is, and because it's dark in the room, kind of dark in the room without any light. So they were kind of having some unusual hours, you know, when they go in the sand and out of the sand. So I just happened to have in my garage, speaking of stuff laying around, a fluorescent light set that I had. I think it was off of a 65-gallon tank I had a long time, but it's just your standard aquarium white light. Yep. I pulled that out and put that on the tank. It's not much of a light, but after I did that, I'm thinking, am I just kind of inviting green hair algae or not? I mean,
do you have a sump? Do you have a sump with a refugium?
I don't have a refugium. No, I have a sump. I've been dosed it with microbacter for about 10 days, 14 days.
Right.
So I don't. Now I did also something else. I did. Just
go for it.
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask you if you could bolt on to your sump basically a box refugium, through a bulkhead or something.
Do you got room for like the CPR hang on the back, Tim?
Yeah.
So there's a couple ideas here. Go ahead.
35-gallon or a 35-gallon Rubbermaid that you can pump water in
and run it back.
And then the overflow will spill back into the sump.
I guess I could. What do you think?
Even a cereal container would do it. Even a cereal container would be able to do it.
Just for right now, in order to get some type of macroalgae to export your nutrients. Because if you're going to have a light on top of your sump, you want to be able to outcompete whatever the hell is in your system. When the bacteria you get to release the nutrients. When you release the nutrients,
you went robot on me there.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to fight an uphill battle with green hair algae in your display tank, bro.
So,
or even a 5-gallon bucket would work.
I'm waiting on this other radion. I had one radion that I had on this cube, which was fine for the cube, but now I'm on a 4-foot tank it's 100 gallons, it's 4 foot long. And so as soon as I get the other radion, I'm going to put I have both radions on top there, and then I'll move the corals out of this temporary tank that I have them. But I was thinking that then, I'd probably go to like the blue spectrum to begin with. And so I don't know. I'm just kind of scared because last time I started up a tank, I did have an algae fight to begin with. I think it was because I had too much of a white spectrum in the.
Could be.
So, like I said, I've been dosing the microbacter, but the phosphates are high. That's the other thing I was going to mention. They're already high. They're like 0 or not, as some of y'all would say.
Not, yeah.
The Canadians and the Brits. But anyway, 0.23 is what it was this morning. So that's kind of high on the phosphates already. So.
Hey guys, I'm gonna dip out for a little bit.
Yeah, if you're still not feeling that like hanging, that's all right, buddy.
Hey, I hope you feel better, Cruz.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
For sure,
take
bud.
it easy.
Managed it for now. That'll work.
Hmm.
So, if you didn't hear, you probably didn't hear me, but hey, Cruz, thank you for the donation, buddy. Appreciate it. I don't know why he didn't do it through the mainstream, but hey, Cruz is breaking up. Yeah, he's got a lot of interference where he's at, I think is what's going on, so. So what's going on? Did you hear white noise between the chat, Blinky? You mean like that noise? And if that's the noise, let me know. I know it's 30 seconds, but I'm going to keep talking. You know why I'm going to keep talking? Because it's really flippin' annoying when people don't realize that there's a 30-second delay between when I ask a question and you answer. That was pretty good. Did you like that? Go ahead.
You said 30-second delay, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Don't you love it? Let's play with YouTube. Yeah. No,
What the hell?
oh, I'm crazy, man. I'm in a crazy mood, too. The wife even said, no, you should get on. You got the wild eyes going. I'm like, you do? And she goes, yeah.
It's
and I went,
Saturday.
it's Saturday.
It's Saturday.
Indeed. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, definitely want to, yeah, you know.
Saturday's always one of those nights. Give it a couple of hours by 12 and you start getting everyone on.
That's it.
The
Yeah.
next time I have a tank, build a new tank or have a new tank built, I'm gonna have a fish room or something. But this cable management shit just.
Oh, it's for the birds, man. Look, if you ever watch the guys that have those tanks that we all love, what's the main thing we see? They've got a fish room, or they got the tank up against the wall, and they got everything on the other side of the wall, which is, you know, why do we want that? Because guess what? Then you'll have to get down on your knee, crawl underneath the cabinet. No, you know what? It's right there, right? So
Either that, or I need to stop watching Reefer Gill with OCD. I looked at the tank, I go, Jesus Christ, how can anybody have a sump area that looks that good? You know?
oh no, it drives you nuts, right? You know what I mean? Like, tell me something,
Right,
Vicky.
before
Tell
we
me if the
started,
noise went away.
before
Go ahead.
Before we got into this hobby, that was our dream.
Yeah.
When we realised
Oh,
the
yeah.
burdens of reefing,
Yeah.
that was our dream. To have the partition wall with the tank in it.
Yeah,
You
You've
know.
got to crawl under a little crawl space to go and get into it.
Yeah, I'm down there today, and I don't have any hair on the top of my head anymore, and I just banging.
You got to have a pick-me-up. You got to have a pick-me-up.
I should have gone and put a hat on it. I'm banging my head around trying to run the damn the cable for the pH probe and the temp probe and what else did I move around today? I've ran the cable for the light, the fluorescent light. I mean, just some area light, and I did something else, and I finished all, and I still got to run the cords for the power cords for the skimmer and the heater. And I go, that's enough for today. I can't take any more of this shit. I gotta.
No, I hear you. No, I hear you. I'll tell you. Salt creep is the thing that pisses me off the most, right?
I hate it.
You know, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, just knock it in your tank." Well, you just suck. Kiss the fattest part of my ass on that one, buddy. I ain't knocking it in my tank.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's not too bad. Maybe if you don't have corals in there already.
No, even if you have it, it's harmless. But all I can think is that it's sitting there exposed. You know, I'm a smoker's house, so you know it's soaking up something. Right now, you know, it's bad enough I do that. Like today was great. I got to open the windows. There's lots of fresh air in the house, and in my office, I'm running, the air purifier. And that's why I titled it. You can see it in the thing there. Aren't they just fish? I say that, and I went mental. I actually went nuts. I think. I said, well, yeah, they're just fish, but they're also my pets. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't like watching it if they fight. I said, that's like two pit bulls in your room going at it. Are you going to sit there and just watch it, you mental bugger? You know?
Thing is, these people don't realise the burden we have to suffer when we have to chase our wives around the house because they're holding a can of air freshener.
Yeah, exactly.
His burden.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got a
My
horse.
missus went, I've got a mirror right next to the tank, and the missus goes, let me clean the mirror. And I went, no, I'll get some white vinegar on it. I'll get that to clean it up. No,
Yeah.
I've got Windoline here, that'll do it lovely.
Yeah.
No, I'll sit there for 5 minutes and clean it myself with white vinegar.
Good.
I
You know
know
what?
you
I do use Windex, what you call window, whatever.
Windoline.
Yeah.
We don't actually have Windoline, it's just called, I just still call it Windoline. It's like open fruit from Starburst.
Right. What
I
it
call
is
open fruits.
when you watch the guy that he doesn't spray it into some paper towel and then wipe the glass. No. He and he's standing right next to the tank, and you can see the overspray just flying right over top of the tank, and you're just like, oh, dude, what are you doing, right?
I tell you what, I got a little horror story on that one. Last year, my wife, oh, geez, bless her heart.
We know the story to the go, bless
Yeah.
her heart.
I came home and I get in the house. And I go, what's that smell? And she goes, oh, there was a lot. It was during the time of year we had a lot of rain and there was a lot of mosquitoes around. So she sprayed damn bug spray all over the place.
Oh.
And she looks at me and she says, "You think it'll hurt the fish?" And I go,
We'll find out.
well, we did. We did.
Yeah.
2 days later, 2 dead fish. I go, does that answer your question?
Now, mind you, what you could have done. Now, did you run carbon? Were you running carbon?
Yeah, I think so. Running carbon.
A good one is the Arcadia filter foam things, the filter pads.
Yeah.
They soak it up.
And even then, it's just getting lucky. Because if it gets, it's in the display because that's where it's sprayed. Does it get out first or does it get to the fish first, right? So.
I mean, she sprayed, but I mean, it wasn't just a small. I mean, she sprayed this stuff.
She's emptied the whole can.
Yeah.
I can't. She lets me get by with so much stuff on the tank. It's hard to be. So I just bit my lip and tongue and said, "Shit." Okay,
and that's
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's just it. Live and learn, right? Like the thing is, like air freshener in and of itself's okay. I wouldn't go spraying Lysol over top of the tank, right? But it's those Scentsy candles. I have seen more tanks with globs of chemical floating through the tank, and I'm like, you should at least go in there, get yourself a brine shrimp net, and scoop out a majority of what you're seeing, right? Because like same with, I spray Windex too, right? Like, I don't get it, it's don't spray it at your tank, don't overspray it over top your tank.
Right.
But you can use it. It's not going to leach through your glass. I'd like.
Spray it on the damn towel. Just spray it on your damn towel first.
Right, and then wipe down your tank, right? Because it works like a charm. But if you are that, what's the word I'm looking for here? Not OCD, but that worried. Use vinegar.
Yeah,
it works the same.
I just use RO water.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. I have a thing full of RO water.
Does anybody polish their glass like I do? I got microfiber towels and I actually polish and everything. I'm like, why am I doing this, right?
I spend a good 15 minutes every morning doing it.
You can use newspapers too, if you scrub it or after you clean it, go over it with a newspaper, and it makes it really, really nice and shiny.
Yeah. No, like if Deathmage, do you use like and that's fine that you do, as long as everything's going well. But you probably have a nice ventilated house. You get the windows open more often than not too, because up here in Canada, when it's minus 35 out and you're burning a Scentsy candle in the living room with the tank, not really a great idea. Just saying.
You don't have the windows open then, huh?
No.
Do you know what's not gone into much detail? Do you have vaping over in the States?
Vaping? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Does that present a problem to tanks? Because I've never seen a chat about that.
Well, you know what?
Interesting.
I'd like to ask Mad Dog, because Mad Dog vapes like a crazy amount of vaping, right? And
he's only down the road to me.
I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, sounds good, Tim. No, and her windows. You've been awfully lucky. I think it depends on the product too, when it comes to that, because there's stuff I know we don't use here that I know people have used and wiped out their tank. I think it really depends. I think it depends on the airflow in your house. Right, if your house is super sealed, the guy that had the problem, when I walked into his house, you could feel it was almost like when you close the door. It was such a airtight house, right? And it was like, and his wife was burning a Scentsy candle. I noticed it right off, like, because it was super strong. But I was in another guy's house. His wife burns those candles, and nothing. You know what I mean? Like, there was, you could smell it, but it wasn't that overwhelming. Kind of like, geez.
Yeah. Do you know? I imagine Deathmage is this proper girly girl where her house smells like a spring summer's cottage sort of thing.
No, I think a lot of that's just guys not liking that, right? Like, I mean, I have it in the bathroom. Come on, we all know why. You know what I mean? So, that's all well and good. And Metal said he vapes around his tank and he's not noticing anything. So, there you go. So maybe nothing.
I smoke around my tank.
Yep.
Obviously not enough to drop ash into it, but I do smoke around.
Oh, no, you haven't done that yet? I have. I have.
It's non-toxic as far as I know.
No, it's just carbon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carbon dosing by cigarette.
Yeah. Well, you know, I felt so stupid. It's what I don't do that anymore. I don't have the cigarette stuck in my lips while I'm working on something about the tank anymore. Let me tell you that. And it is. You are absolutely right. Why? Because what's in cigarette smoke? A lot of stuff.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Yeah. So totally different ball game. And it's like the wife is in that room, so there's always fresh air in the tank. I usually am running carbon, so if I ever had something seriously bad go down, I'd probably blame it on that. I probably would. I'd say, yep, you know, that's it. No more smoking in the house. Yeah, right.
Yeah. The amount of people that reef and smoke weed, isn't it?
Yep, I'm sure.
I've never seen a problem with that either with their tanks.
Had a lot of 420 comments yesterday. So, you know, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. And that's, you know, I think that's it. I think we put too much onus on that. It's more, you're going to get something anyway. Even if you don't do any of that stuff in your house, I know people have problems, so I don't worry about it as much as some people do. Right? And I usually have the windows open.
If you head to the tank, you're taking a risk, aren't you?
I think so. Yep. You know, and that's it. If you don't have a lid, you're definitely taking it, right? You know, that's as simple as it gets, and that's all kinds of things. I got a cat. To this day, still absolutely amazed he does this. But if the litter box is full, he pees in the sink, and if he's feeling really pissy, no pun intended, actually, he peed in my RO water. So he stood over top of my brute can, balanced himself, and took a wee. And I'm like, what the hell's that smell? I'm trying to get the water, and then I tested it, and of course the ammonia was through the roof. So I knew he did it. You know, so thankfully he didn't go over to the one that goes into the tank, right? This is my RO for making salt water or moving over for the ATO. Those are closed, right, all the time, right? Yeah, so. Yep, no, Mage, I agree. I am not a proponent of no water changes. I don't think there's such a thing. I limit my water changes, but no, I would never not do them.
I'm one of those people that are very skeptical about the Triton method and no water changes.
Yeah. That's what we were saying today. We were
Yep.
talking about that today.
Yep.
I would.
Yeah. Have you seen the Dork? Oh, what's his name? The Dork. What's his name? Dork.
Is he a dog or is that his name? The dog.
No, the Dork. Oh, what's his name?
Are you saying Dork?
Dork, yeah, the Dork guy.
Was
he did a Triton test and he'd done 2 lots of water.
Oh, you were saying, yeah, and he got 2 different results back from the same batch of water.
Yeah. Dan's Reef done that as well. Dan's Reef done that.
Dan's Reef did that too, and it's starting to make people think about what's coming back on those ICP tests, right?
Oh, so that might be who I was thinking of. The Reef, yeah, Dan's Reef.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Thing is, those tests are just a guideline.
Yeah.
They are, really.
And,
they're just a mind.
Well, what was his reasoning, Raven, about doing this? Was he didn't trust it? Was he like? It's almost like he wanted an aha moment. You know, like see, it's bogus, right?
Differences between Triton, API, and someone else.
Yeah, it wasn't the same company that tested the water and gave the results.
Yeah.
It was one sent to one company, one was sent to another. Do I have that right?
Yep.
2 different testers? Okay, so yeah, that would make a difference to me because that doesn't say anything, right? Lab tests would be, though, Deathmage. They're supposed to be. That's the point, right? Yeah. Our hobby kits are not, for sure. But if you're sending it off to ICP, we're under the impression and have been shown that that's lab grade. But that being said, if you send it off, if I sent 2 batches to the same company and got 2 different results, that would I'd have no confidence, right? But if I sent one to ICP and I sent one to whoever the other one is, and I got different results back, and then again, how different were the results?
Yeah.
You know, are we talking 0.1, 0.01, that kind of thing? Like, there'd be more to it. I'll have to watch his video. If he did it, I'm sure he's got a video up.
Yeah.
I done it with mine to test mine. As I've told you before, Craig, I use that water chemistry that we have in the UK, where you get 4 tests for £30. and I use that as my weekly, and I do a monthly full on myself. Do you know what I mean with Salifert?
Yeah.
And I've sent 2 tests, and it's only ever been 0.05 off between, just to test it.
Yep.
So it's still down to human error.
It is. Yeah. Nope. And that's you're absolutely right.
It may sound pretty with an ICP test, but there's still a guy at that lab grade equipment, isn't there?
Mm.
No, and you're right, Mage. Exactly. They do say there's a plus minus to it. So.
No, hopefully this will. Yeah, I think this is his link. I'll put it in the chat if that goes to it. But that was his link.
But I think in the end, what it is that again, and like Mage said, it's a guideline. That's as best as it gets. Right? If you want full on, super lab grade testing, well, what was it, BRS with the nitrate thing with the Hawkins meter for the, that's supposed to be lab grade, and I was like, well, if you can buy it, it's probably not lab grade, guys.
Well, they had to recalibrate, didn't they, themselves?
Yeah, they had to recalibrate it for seawater. Yeah.
But even saying that, even most refractometers are not actually made for seawater, are they?
No.
No.
You need a saltwater one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the Red Sea one is, but again, it's like with there's some calibration ones. Brightwell do a calibration.
Yep.
And
Brightwell
it's
does.
it's actually seawater, and the way you calibrate that one is you take it. It's a known quantity, so you take that up to the So when you look through the refractometer, you screw it up to what the water's supposed to be. So if it's supposed to be on like 32, whatever, you take it up to that level. If that makes any sense. So you don't do it as a 0. You do it at the water calibrated that it's for. Yeah.
You know what though? I find we all put way too much onus on that crap. You know what I mean? Like I test my water and it's literally just a freaking guideline. Like what are my nitrates kind of at? Oh, they're looking high, right? I've got pink. I got a lot of pink. You know what I mean? Or I got a deep pink.
Lazy.
So
I only test my salinity on water change day, once a week. That is the only time I test it.
I guess I would be too,
but the thing is, do you test it at the same time? That's the thing.
I test it before the water change, which is at 12 o'clock on a Saturday, every Saturday. Yeah. And I test it again at 8 o'clock Saturday night.
Hiya, bees. Yeah.
So again, it's like that consistency of doing it basically the same times. You're going to get a better reading, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, but it's again, it's like when you look through them refractometers. If I looked through it, I could turn around and say, "Oh, my water's spot on," and you could look through it and go, "Oh, no, it's not. It looks different." So again, it is a guideline.
Yeah, exactly. It's all guideline, right? You gotta think like, I know when we're the ones that dose, right? Whether it's Triton or it's 2-part or whatever it is, you want it as accurate as possible, but you're only going to get so accurate. It's going to be a mean average and a guideline. It's like we were saying to Exclusive one night. Don't worry about 3 different tests giving you 3 different readings. Pick one, stick with it, and use that as what you're going to lean against. Because in the end, that's what it is. It's that average is going to be consistent, right? So if it's 7 and you want to get it to 7.8, get that one to 7.8. It's not going to hurt anything. Watch your tank. Pay attention to your tank. Don't rely on a number that's going to bring everything in line, right? So
yeah.
I just put another link in the chat, and that was the one from John Kent the other day that I was talking about.
Oh yes,
he talks about the Triton test and how the machines work and everything. He goes into quite a detail, and he shows pictures of different machines that do all this testing, and he explains how they work and things like that. And I think when you hear sort of like such detail on how they work, and you think, well, how can these be so tested? You know, there's so many things that can go wrong when you're doing the test.
Yes.
You know, it takes like you think what they're doing is they're getting your piece of water, they're sticking it in a machine, they burn it off, and they use like a refractometer or whatever to read the light that's coming off. Yeah.
Yep.
And by reading the light that's coming off, they can tell what's in it. Now, if I gave you my bottle, you put it through, right? They technically you should have to then reflush that whole system out to do somebody else's.
Yeah.
You would think
Yeah?
so. Yeah, exactly.
So
Like
if you get one careless person who doesn't flush it out properly, you're going to get an inconsistent or reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing that the guy was saying is when you send off your water, yeah, if you send it off, say like I think he said there's one in England, there's one in Poland or Czechoslovakia, something like that.
There's one in
Yeah,
Germany,
they're all
isn't
in
there?
Europe.
Yeah, one in Germany. He said when you send it off, right, it could go off to somewhere else and wait a week before it's tested.
exactly.
He said you need to test your water as soon as possible.
Right.
Yep.
You know, so again, that's another inconsistency. Take it out of the tank. How long has it been sitting around for?
Yeah.
So,
But you
Thing
know,
is, even if you speak to Celifert, they can't actually tell you how to get a consistent reading.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
but hey, Nick, are you still there? This is Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Hey.
Mhm.
So what? You know, that was the big. You know, I was talking about Jack Kent's talk. You know, before, and obviously, you know, well, one part of it was, you know, obviously he has his own axe to grind. He's, you know, and you can tell from the speech that or the talk that he didn't like. You know, he was disparaging Triton, and he didn't name the names, but the biggest thing that I took away from that was kind of scary was what we're talking about right now was the
Mhm.
possibilities of errors in ICP. But then,
Mhm.
and he brought out some of the points you're talking about now. But then in the end, he
Yeah.
recommended a U.S. based ICP testing. You know, so I'm going, well, God, you can't have it both ways now, Jack. I mean, come on.
I think he was more like it is the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think the way that he was saying is this is where we're at. This is where it's going, and this is going to be the future of ICP testing. Yeah. But I think there's so many variables in it at the moment. Yeah, and I know it's sort of like, you know, it's just this new big thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's this thing at the moment where like everybody's got to do water testing and things like that. So I think in a few years' time, you're going to see a better quality ICP testing where it is going to be more accurate.
Because competition will lead the market.
Always.
That's the way it always works with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know,
Go ahead, Tim. Did he cut himself off?
You there, mate?
He's muted himself.
I think he did.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's having that kind of a day,
Nope.
huh?
Yeah.
no, the wife called.
Oh.
We'd all pause for that.
Yeah.
I can't tell her what I'm doing. She thinks I'm doing what I'm doing.
I'm doing work. He's doing work.
But anyway, the point was that's the first time I'd had any thoughts about when he said that about the ICP testing. That's the first time I'd like, well, damn, I never thought about him being wrong. I just thought, you know, I was like ICP testing. It's like I'm thinking this is all 100% correct, you know.
Yeah.
And the first time I had any, you know, any thought at all about, well, maybe they're not right sometimes, you know. I really hadn't given that much thought before, so.
Yeah.
So. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's the same. It's the same as your own kit, isn't it? If your kit could go out of date, sort of thing. You know, your testing equipment. Your testing equipment needs to be sometimes calibrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at any point you do something like not calibrating, you've messed up your test.
Yep, exactly. You can do that. Yeah, it's the same thing with you were talking about sitting your water out, right? And on top of that, you know, I'm not like I said, unless you are flipping crazily concerned with it. As long as it gives you a mean average, that's the whole point. right? You know, to sit down and worry about the innate, super accuracy of it. Well, if you want to pay to have it tested at your local university under lab grade conditions, go for it. And even then, you're not going to trust it. Guarantee you won't.
Yeah. And again, it comes down to chasing numbers, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You're going to be
always.
chasing numbers. You know.
Thing is, for all of this, people have forgotten the golden rule with this hobby. Is if there's something wrong, the best solution is always a water change.
Yep, exactly.
Always.
Water changes will always help you.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, is a 10% water change on a 120-gallon tank going to make that much of a difference?
No.
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 It's really not.
No. At least a 30 to 40%.
Yeah, but it's like I was saying. Yeah, it's like I was saying earlier on. You know, I have no problem on my tank at the moment doing a 10%, which is 20 liters, nothing really, and I do that once a week. Yeah, and that is. I'm not doing a water change. I'm doing like a maintenance, as I was saying earlier on. I'm maintaining my tank. Yeah.
Yep.
If that makes any sense. So by doing the water change, yes, I'm taking stuff out, and yes, I'm putting something back in. Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas not doing any water changes and doing, say, like a Triton method or dosing or any type of thing like that, I'm actually just adding stuff into it. Yeah.
Yep.
So all I'm doing with my little tank at the moment is water changes, and that's probably the best way for my little tank.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, depending on your stock, you can sustain a reef tank with just water changes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I've got a friend
you can have
that was the same. He had a tank, didn't have to dose, and all of a sudden he got coralline algae.
Yeah.
Or algae.
Yeah.
And
algae.
All he did was all he did was just scrape it off, just so he didn't have to dose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I've got no coralline algae in my tank, my little tank. No, nothing really. If there is, I can't see it.
I will send you a sample of my scrapings, mate.
You want
that sounds absolutely.
That's the easiest way to do it. Yeah, if you're looking for it, make sure you
Yeah.
scrape the color you want and seed it in your tank. It works. So.
Hey, there's a guy on eBay that does that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Farm Boy Reef actually was doing it for the longest time. Yeah.
You can actually buy a little like a little thing. It's on a little pad type of thing.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It's like on a piece of plastic, and all you do is you put it in front of the flow, and that's how you seed your tank.
Yep.
That's all he does.
I just went over to a friend of mine who has a tank that's full of algae. I said, "Give me a rock, Mike." Goes,
Yeah, that's it.
Make sure it's got plenty of full of algae.
Got any shells? Got any shells?
Got any shells? Yeah, exactly.
Or snails. I got snails all over right now.
Yeah.
I've got snails. I've got crabs. What you need? What you need?
Yeah, what you need, buddy? Yeah.
You got some Cheeto. You got some Cheeto.
I was having a good chuckle at myself. So, you guys know I use those black box LEDs, right?
Yeah.
And on this tank, the Chinese Mars Aqua black box LEDs, they call them. Do you know what I'm talking about, Tim? Do you know what I'm talking about? Or is Tim cut out away on me again? Anyway, I noticed that the edges of this 20-gallon tank were a little darker. You could see the cone of light. So I took off the lenses on either end, and kabang, that took care of that, right?
Use the same lighting. Hey.
There we go.
Yeah.
So that's what it was.
Hey, you're
Hangout
back.
screwed up.
Yeah.
Everybody's back.
Your black box took you out, man. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, don't you dare talk about them. Yeah. We're editing you. Censorship. Yeah. But no, it's definitely. Yeah, we were just talking about that, Bees, and that's the thing. It's like if you send it both to ICPs direct, and they both came back different, that would just they'd know the confidence would be shot in the company. I think right there, right? So. But yeah, so no, I think when you're dosing, it's just go by the kit that you're using. Use ICP if you're having, I guess, real issues and you really want to dig deep into what you're not testing for.
Could be.
But yeah, but other than that, I don't think it's all that important, to be honest.
Yeah. The thing on the Triton. Now I'm not on the. I'm somewhere in between on Triton and water changes and all that stuff. But I think people have kind of read into it a little bit, and the whole because when I listen to, I forget his name, the top guy in the company. When I listened to his first talk in Magna in 2016, I had to listen to it 3 or 4 times, because I thought this is the first time I'd ever. Because he comes out and says, "Why are you doing water changes? Why are you doing?" He just challenged.
Oh, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I never thought. I never had not thought of it that way. Now he didn't. He never does tell people don't do water changes. That's not what he's saying.
No.
At all. That's been taken.
He's asking why.
Some people have kind of taken that, and maybe it's because they didn't want to do water changes. That's the way. It's the no.
And
kind
of ran with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Could be.
He doesn't say that. He doesn't. And I've listened to it again, and he's not saying that. He's just, why are you doing water changes? But yeah, you could get to the point where you're not doing water changes. But here's how you might. Here's a method that might enable you to do that, or not do such frequent water changes, or do water changes with a purpose. But he never. People say no. It's just they're just totally against water changes. Well, no. I had an ICP test, and I forget what it was, but they recommended that I do a 10%. I think 10% water change for 6 weeks is what that came from Triton. And they didn't recommend. They said you could use Triton, whatever it was, this supplement or whatever, or you could use another one. Yeah, they're gonna sell themselves, but you don't have to. I think we're kind of demonizing them a little bit sometimes.
I don't think so. I think people demonize it a little bit, when it's wrong in some way, shape, or form. But I think what's really funny is people's innate laziness that they don't want to do water changes and are desperate for something that says you just put the water in the tank and that's it, you're done. And it's like, well, there's no such thing. There can't be. At some point, the water is going to reach a saturation point that you've got to, do it that way, right? Yeah, it's I don't know. I just don't mind doing a water change, guys. That's why I bought an RODI unit in the first place.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just not. I'm not adverse to doing. Wine is pretty. I was telling old.
I think you're lying, buddy. I think that's why you're harping about it.
Seymour, he lives in an apartment.
Yep.
It's hard for him to do a water.
So do I. I don't know what he's talking about.
I got these big brute containers. I mix up 15 gallons of water and salt water. I got another brute container. I go in there and I pull out 15 gallons of water with a pump, and I pump 15 gallons of water back in. Yeah, it's a little bit of a pain, and if you're not careful sometimes, if you're clumsy or something, I can get water all over the damn place. But it's not that big a deal. It's on wheels. It's 30 feet away. But there's other things I'd rather do. But it's not a big deal. It's not that big a deal. So I don't know.
If Triton didn't exist, you'd be doing water changes, wouldn't you? At the end of the day.
Yeah.
You would. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. You'd be right back doing it. If it never existed, we'd all be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And many of the people that come into this hobby straight away, right? How many of them know about Triton?
No,
they
don't. Yeah.
How many people? Well, they don't know much about anything. Yeah, and the first thing they're going to be doing is they're going to be told by the fish shop, right? Here's your salt water, mix up, do X amount of water changes per week, or do X amount of,
per week,
yeah.
10%.
This is what you need to do: a 10% water change on your thing every week, and they're not going to know any better, So it's like you said, you have an apartment, and there's I think what's his name has an apartment, so it's very difficult to do. So if you knew that from the very beginning, that you're going to have to be doing water changes, you could either do two things: go sod that, I'm not going to do it, or you go, hey, that's the hobby I'm in,
Yeah.
So
to be fair, I probably would have said sod that if I knew. To be fair, I would have.
But that's what I'm saying. But if somebody turned around and said, "Hey, do you know what? Here's your salt. Set your water up. Set your tank up. In a couple of weeks' time, you'll be good to go. Hey, and guess what? You can buy all these products off of me, called Triton Method, and you can do that, and you don't have to ever do a water change. Yeah. You'd be jumping. You'd be jumping at it. You'd be absolutely jumping at that. Yeah.
Yeah. You're
And
right.
then something goes wrong, and somebody will say, "Hey, have you done a water change?" You go, "What's a water change?"
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Well, you know what's really funny, right? So if you, wow, I love saying that, don't I? You know what's really funny? But it is. It's kind of funny that you think about it from this point of view. Prior to Triton, what did you guys all do? You water changed,
exactly.
right? So all Triton did was change people's thoughts on that and really fed the lazy reefer, right? I don't want to have to do a water change.
That's all it's fueling.
And it's like, go ahead.
Yeah. It's like BRS. I don't know if you've seen that they're doing their ULM, ultra low maintenance reef tank.
Yep.
Yeah. Basically, they're doing a lazy man's reef.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about, right? Hey, if you do, it's like the filter rollers, right? I want one. But I want it because it is lazy. I don't have to go and grab my filter socks and clean my filter socks. I just take this, throw it out like shitty toilet paper.
It's different. That's not lazy. That's convenient.
It's exactly, but it's still technically lazy. Technically, right? But it is when it's convenient, and that's just, you hit it on the head too, Tony. That's it. It's just that's a convenience that feeds that laziness, right? But if I told you if you bought that you didn't have to do water changes anymore, they'd be flying off the shelf.
Yeah. I mean, the one good thing about a roller sock, especially that one that was shown at Magna, that are where automatically it fits in where the roller socks, where the socks sit. Yeah. I can understand the purpose of a roller sort of like, because it does take the crap out and it actually takes it out of the water. Yeah. So it's constantly taking the crap out of the water. Yeah. Whereas a filter sock, it just gathers it all up in the sock and it still stays in the water. Yeah. So I can understand that. So in a sense, that's a good thing. But again, I bought the micro socks that are like the micro 200 nylon ones. They're not the, the real sort of like ones that get the real crap out, because I knew it was going to be easier. I was told they're going to be a lot easier to clean. Yeah.
Right.
Are they?
Than the other ones, the nylon ones.
Oh, they are. They actually are easier to clean. Yeah, they clean out really easy.
And the thing is, if, say for instance, I wanted to be a little bit more filter, I could probably put some filter floss in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done that. Oh, yeah. No, I've done that. Yeah. So.
And again, you just take that filter floss out and chuck it away.
Yeah. But sooner or later you filter, but still your filter sock, sooner or later you're gonna have to change it, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I have no problem taking my socks out and cleaning them. It'll take a couple of minutes. I don't know. I'm not going to chuck them in the washing machine or anything like that. They're nylon. They're actually really easy to clean. Even though I've got nothing in the tank, you still find you get hair in the tank and things like that. And
do they trap just as much detritus and stuff as the regular filter?
The felt ones, yes, they do. Especially if you do what Raven's saying, if you put filter floss in them, they do a fantastic job. But the thing is, like anything else, you got to change them out on a regular basis, right?
Yeah. But all you have to do is stick your hand in there and pull it out, chuck it in the bin. You're not sitting there washing them. You're not sitting there washing them like you would the other ones.
I love how we're just talking about all the laziest methods for doing shit today, right? Like,
I want the no water change, no filter sock, no.
That's called don't have a reef tank.
Yeah. Do you know what you should do? You should save up all your money and just go to a local aquarium and just stare at the fish in there.
Yeah, you don't even have to look after it. You pay minimal fee.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to say this. Maybe you guys understand this, but I do all. I can complain about some of the stuff that I do.
Yep.
But in the end, I get a sense of achievement. I don't know. I don't know.
I know exactly what you mean.
Like I'm sitting there looking at it, and I go, "Damn, I just feel good about it."
Yeah. When you sit and clean the glass, when you're sitting there cleaning the glass, what you're doing, you're looking at your tank, aren't you? Right. And when you're sitting there looking at the tank, you're sitting there going, "Oh, that looks all right. Oh, that looks all right. Oh, that looks a bit off." Yeah. So just by cleaning the glass, you're maintaining the glass and everything, but you're actually observing what your tank is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you do the same thing when you're doing a water change or when you're changing the filter sock. You get down in the sump,
Yeah,
you're looking around and
yeah.
So sometimes it's good to do that once a week, whatever.
I mean, it's all right having all these apexes, yeah, but your apex doesn't tell you when your tank is dirty. As such.
No, it doesn't. No.
Yeah.
Well, it does.
And your apex.
It does now because you buy that Trident system, not Triton, Trident, right? Pay $600 and it'll test your water for you. If that isn't, and don't get me wrong, if I could have that, I probably would.
Yeah.
We're getting there. One day my Apex is going to send me a message. Hey, Tim, the damn tank is dirty. Clean it.
Clean your tank.
Clean it.
It's been 4 weeks.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean though? It's like it's not going to tell you. All right, it's not going to tell you where the crap is.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. It might tell you the water quality of your tank, but it's not going to turn around and say, "Hey, do you know what? This is looking a bit like it needs a repair."
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Or, you're sitting there and you could hear say like the pump might sound a bit different. You think, "Oh, that sounds a bit different. Perhaps it needs a clean."
Yeah. Exactly.
Your Apex is not going to do that.
And that's what I've always said. You're going to know your tank. You should be able to walk up to your tank, look at it, listen to it, and know if something's up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's fairly simple that way, right? So
when I walk
come in tune with it, don't you? You really do.
Yeah.
As soon as I walk in my living room in the morning, right, I can hear my tank going. Now sometimes I can hear a different noise, and I'm going.
Right.
My air pipes come off my skimmer. It's only a little bubble skimmer at the back.
Yeah.
But I know it's gone off. I know it's come off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first thing I do is go over to it and I just push it back on. It drives me out the wall. It just always falls off. Don't know why, but it does.
Yeah.
It's
I woke up in the middle of the night because my tank was making a funny noise, and I'm like,
yeah.
I get scared nowadays. I still when I hear water.
Well, yeah, exactly. You have all the reason in the world, Tim. You had a 93-gallon cube split, so you win.
But when I hear water running and I go, "What is that? What's that water sound?" I'm paranoid now.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? That's not right. The tank doesn't sound right. And I go, usually it's something else, but it can be. Sometimes you're right. Sometimes you hear something and you know how your tank sounds when everything's going right. So. But I've gone into the living room. I've gotten up, thrown the light on in the living room where the tank is. And I go, what the hell's? And everything's cool. It's just something else that's making the noise or something. It's like, damn, gotta go back to sleep.
Yeah. But again, it's like I said, an Apex ain't going to tell you that your fish has come along and knocked your coral off.
Well, you can detect it with the leak detector. You can connect the leak detector and tell you when there's water all over the floor. I guess.
Well, the Apex don't tell you crabs to get off your snouts, does it?
Exactly. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, you can get the Apex and get the flow meter and things like that, and the water detection stuff and everything. Which is, I can't knock what it does.
It does its job.
It does exactly what it does, and you get all these outbreak boxes and everything, and you then sit there and you program it and everything. But if you program it wrong,
yeah, you're right, and it's more cable management too.
Yeah, and more cable management. A hell of a lot more cable management. Yeah. Well, your power goes out.
Yeah, your power goes out.
What do you do then? If you haven't got a backup.
Yeah. I mean, you think.
You can't sit there and tell your wife to dip her finger in it and taste it, can you? Really?
Yeah. You know what's funny that you say that, right? And that's I put up with that a lot here in Canada, especially so it's cold, right? And then you got your oxygenation issues, right? So I have 2 battery-operated air pumps, right? I've got 2 battery packs that I can run my heater or pump with, depending on the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's no need to panic. My tanks have been without power. I've had 2 runs of 6 and 1 of 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing died. So,
mm-hmm.
I guess it's Cruz's adage, bubbling works. Doesn't matter how it is that you're agitating the water. And it doesn't take that much to keep it going, right? It failed. I'll fix it up here in a sec there, Bees. 1 sec. So when you get down to it, and I got to go back to here, and I got to go back to here, damn it. And there's Bitly, and there's that. Just a sec here, guys. Just don't want to lose my train of thought. So when you get down to it, and you're dealing with anything that goes on with your tank, it's how you deal with it. People, I know people, again, you're reefing with fear, though. We know that's going to happen. Have that ready to go. You know what I mean? Like, just be ready. There's no reason not to be ready. We're adults. You know what I mean? You have how many people here have an emergency pack in their car for if they break down in the winter?
No.
I do.
I don't have that here.
You know?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You guys don't. We do.
Yeah.
Now, I can tell you unequivocally, though, I bet you could pull over 10 cars, and it wouldn't be that. I would not be surprised if 10 cars didn't have anything for if they broke down and it was sub-zero weather.
Yeah.
They just don't believe it's going to happen to them, right?
Yeah.
So there's people who reef that way. It's never going to happen to me.
Yeah.
And then they come on, however long down the road, and they're like, oh, man, power went out, my whole tank crashed. And it's like, well, didn't you have Airstone, battery-operated pumps? Didn't you? No.
Yeah.
Well, that's your fault. Sucks to be you, buddy.
We don't really have power cuts in England.
No.
It's more a case of if you paid the bill.
Yeah.
Well, there's that too. Yeah, let's not go there.
I mean, touch wood, sort of like we don't get many power cuts.
No.
Sort of thing. And I think if you did, it's basically because somebody's gone through the power line.
Yeah,
but our power lines are below ground, most of them, aren't they?
Yeah, most of our power lines are underground.
Yeah.
So even where I live in the sticks or like as such, I don't get that many power cuts.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's just it depends. That's very situational. I know some places in the States still have brownouts, so the power goes down. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So it happens, right? But like, it's if you're prepared for it, it's not that big a deal. You know what I mean? It's bad, but it's not that bad. It's not the end of the tank.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I tell my buddies here, why don't you have one? It's $20 for a battery-operated Airstone. The batteries in the one I have, I swear, have been there for 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? I take them out and check them, make sure they're not leaching or anything. And they've got the hose on it and the Airstone on it. I just take it over, throw it in the tank. Blah blah blah.
The thing is, there's so many YouTube videos on DIY battery backups anyway now. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, there's so many ways. Yep.
That cost nothing.
Many ways to skin that reef.
Compared to your loss.
Yep. Exactly. And those battery operated ones that I'm talking about, the charge packs that weekend charge pack, does your battery, or you can plug a couple things in. I ran a pump on one of them for 12 hours.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
It just goes to show you that, and that was only $250, right? Now the only thing you can't do is that when the power goes out, it automatically switches on. That's what those Ecotech ones and all that are for, right? And if you can afford that, all the power to you. But if you can't, there are ways to make it so it's okay. It's when you're not home that everyone has the panic, right? And if you're a reefer and you're not home that much, I understand your want for a reef tank, but you got to really kind of seriously debate, is that really the thing for you to have?
Yeah.
That's where I was always a little like, why would you want a reef tank if you see it 1 hour every week or something?
Yeah. It takes half your life. It does take half your life.
Yeah. But again, it's like you have these people who go and buy the Apex and things like that, or some management system, and they go, oh, I can look on my phone and see what my reef's doing. But the difference is if you're away and you spot a problem,
what are you going to do about it?
Who is going to go and fix it for you? If you've gone out or you're away and there's a leak, who's going to go around the house and say, hey, do you know what, I'm going to sort the leak out? Yeah, they're going to be sitting there going, what the hell do I do with this?
Well, I think in some regard... Go ahead, Tony.
I've got a really good tip for this. It's what I do. I have a IP camera on my tank.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm away quite a bit for work, a lot.
Yeah.
So what I have is I have someone near me that is a fellow reefer. He's not advanced, but he can sit there and make a judgment, and I can give him a text, and he'll come round to mine.
Yeah.
And with the issue.
Yeah.
I label maker. Now I got a label maker. Every cord has a label as to what it is, right? Skimmer, this, that, whatever it is. Here's the trick with an Apex that I'll say. The one thing I do like about it. Let's say you get a warning, your pH is going up. Well, there's only so many things that'll make your pH rise. With an Apex, I do believe through the cloud, you can shut that off.
Yeah,
right? You can, right? So that's the benefit, right? But if it's a leak, you could be standing there. Ask Tim. Guess what? That's still a major bloody thing. You know what I mean? Oh, I went through hell. There was a point with my 20 because of the existing crack that's there. It's just, like I said, it's a hairline fracture in the glass, but it's there. That I would hear noises and come out, look at the tank, start feeling the tank. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I've just stopped, right? Because me and Nick talked about it, and there's so little pressure at that point that the odds of that letting go, they're guys, I love that one. It's not the if, it's when. Yeah, but you know what? Here's the trick, man. I can sit down for the if part, and I'll drill a new 20 when I've got the extra cash, get it ready, and I'll just move it all over. So it'll be fresh sand, pick the rock up, whoop, right in the new tank, done. Right? Not a big deal. Right? I've emptied my tank so many times with ick and then with the flatworm problem I had that I literally have that down to a science. I can move the tank so quick it's not even funny. Right? Now, am I fast enough that if the tank blew out, then no, of course not. Nobody is, right? You got lucky, Tim. I think yours only split up the top, right? And just started dumping to a certain point, if I recall. Tim?
Yeah. I was able to get about 40 gallons, I guess, somewhere around that, of water. Because it split on the side, but it didn't go all the way down. I mean, on one corner, it didn't go all the way down. So I was able to get a brute container.
Yeah, you got lucky, is what you did. It split, but you got lucky.
Yeah, in a way, it was lucky. I was also lucky. I had a good friend, a fellow reefer, who was willing to come at 9 o'clock at night with a 40-gallon breeder and some stuff to help me out. I was lucky. I had some containers around. I was lucky. I had a friend. I was lucky. So I was doing just like Craig was saying. I took a bunch of the rock and the water, so I didn't. I could put stuff into it right away and without much of a problem. And I didn't end up losing hardly any coral, and didn't lose any fish or livestock.
And it falls under that. Remember, I said that a lot of times when we reef in any kind of situation that's an emergency, we'd call it, or things need to be done quick, is the guy running back and forth in his house. Fuck! That's what you're doing, right?
How'd you know I was doing that?
I know you were. I absolutely know you were.
I was like, I'm like spinning around, like, what do I do? I mean, I just couldn't figure out what to do first, And then it's like, okay, well, the first thing is you got to catch the water. Come on, And then it was the fish, and then the corals, and you're running around like you said.
Thing is, catching the fish is the easy part. It's catching the water that's the hard part, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you're right. I don't ever want to go through that again.
Yeah, Metals had a 220 blowout. Am I right? Am I remembering that right?
Whoa.
And I know Farm Boy Reef had his 700-gallon blowout.
Yeah.
Right? So,
that was big.
Those are like insane. Oh my God, I'm sitting here, my arsehole just puckered. Just at the thought of that. Because that's so much water. I mean, I literally had my RODI unit, you guys remember me talking about, the incoming line from the water blew out. Right? And it only ran for 15 minutes, but that dumped at least a good 10 gallons of water all over my floor.
And you think that's a lot.
And and you think that's a lot, right? Try 220, 700. Yeah. Plus glass. Yeah. We're not dealing with something that isn't sharp and can cut your foot off.
That video he made after that was painful to watch.
Oh, I haven't watched it.
The thing is, as well, he lost everything underneath as well, because he had 3 tanks underneath his little lab.
Yeah,
so
everything went down
there as well.
Oh, no. I don't wish that on anybody. Yeah, 3 inches of water. Oh, God, almighty Metals. 220 blew out, 3 inches of water in his living room.
Yeah. But the thing is, he's got back up and he started his Superman tank, I think it is, his little Superman tank.
Yeah.
And he said, like, I'm going to build one, and this time instead of me building it, I'm going to get someone else to build it.
Yeah, get it professionally built. Why? Because then it's insured. Professionally built. Yeah. So how you doing, Bees? You popped in. What's up? You got a question, sir?
No, it was just the water changes earlier. Well, water changes dosing and the testing. A lot of people seem to be pushing one over the other. Just my opinion on that is the water changes. Yes, they will help replenish water in small tanks, but overall, a lot of people seem to see them as a support system.
Yeah, it's a support thing.
It's a, if I change this water, it'll fix my problems, and to a degree, it will. But for the majority of it, my logic is, because I ran this tank, it's not got a lot of corals in, but I ran it for 5 months with no water changes and minimal dosing. The only thing I'd dose is KH, Reef Builder's KH blend, which has got a bit of everything in it. And that ran for 5 months with no water changes and did fantastic. I did a water change purely because it was dirty. So this, to me, it's the logic of, if the tank's dirty and it needs a clean to get all the shit out, give it a clean, do a water change. But the actual parameters in the water, a water change isn't enough to fix that. You have to do something bigger than a water change if your parameters are out.
Well, and that's, I think, a given. I think that's where, when we talk about water changes, you know, we're talking about really minor incidental things. Like, you know, somebody was going on about trace elements this morning, and I'm thinking, you know, I got a bottle of fluval trace elements right there. It's got everything that literally that corals need. I can dose that, and I can dose it in a heartbeat. And I don't even got to wait. Like, it's not like when you're doing calcium and alkalinity and you got to worry about fallout and everything. Literally, just walk up, fill it up to the amount, dump it in. Done. Right? So I do water changes on that 120 maybe once every 2 months, and I'll do about 30 to 40%. Right? And I'm only doing it so I can vacuum the sand correctly. Right? You know, people are like, oh, we'll do the, you know, the...
Exactly it.
Right?
You're using the water change to serve a purpose, as in cleaning your sand.
Right,
when
nothing more.
When relying on that to replenish things, it's the wrong approach.
No, it is.
It's a drop in the ocean, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
And there's a lot of people who seem to look at it and think, oh no, that if I religiously do 10% every week for the next year, I'll have, well, you've replaced the water 5 times.
Yeah.
But that's only 5 times. You don't know what your corals are actually absorbing, so they could have absorbed 10 times as much as what you've replaced.
Do you know how I've always won that argument with people, Bees? I tell them this: do your water change, do your testing, do your water change, wait about 6 hours, test again, and tell me if it made any difference in your tank. And I would put money on it that it barely made a difference in anything. Like right, on a large volume of water. Yeah.
The water changes will help with your nitrates, because in theory you take in, if you did a 50% water change and you had 50 nitrates, that water change would drop them down, it would
to 25
halfway,
yeah,
and then drop it to 25. That's still moderately high for a reef tank. It's not bad, but it's still at that point that if you're assuming that your nitrates are causing you problems, you're going to have to do an 80% water change just to get that down to a level that is.
Or you're going to have to do like I would do, right? 30, 30, and 30. You're going to have to rotate that tank up really quickly, right? And again, that was the main reason for water changes. It wasn't replenishment; it was export. Right, and we have other means of export. Yeah. Go ahead.
People seem to look at it now as it's a way to get everything back in, but it's not.
No, it's not. Not on large volumes. No way. You know, you take a tank like what's Rico's tank? 400 gallons, right? Isn't it? Or 380 or something? Huge. Yeah. Huge tank. You know, 10 gallons. Yeah, do 10% on that. Think that out for a sec. You're talking about 40 gallons of water against 400. Yeah, that's. Yeah, you know, you won't even blip a test kit. You wouldn't even come close, right? And to do a large water change on a system that big, well, that's just nuts. You know what I mean? Let's think about that for.
It's going to cost you 25 quid in salt before you've even scratched the surface.
Even scratch, you got it exactly. So what we're talking about, and this is why I like nano. I like 120 and down because, well, let's be honest, we were joking about that. Dev, and the rest of us one day, that in comparative to the ocean, we're all running nano tanks. Even Monterey Bay, are running nano tanks, right?
Yep.
But when you're talking about relative size for what we all deal with, right? So I got a 120-gallon tank. For me to do a big water change is a week ahead setup, right? Because I got to get my big bucket out, which is 30 gallons, and I got to have some other ones, just a couple of 5 gallons ready, because I always take out more than I think I'm taking out. You know what I mean? So I'm always ready for that replenishment, right? And like I said, I just use it as a good cleaning. Now I'm bubbling this tank. I've already bubbled the 120 for the day. I'm dosing bacteria again back in. And I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm seeing the results. Okay, do I need to do a water change? Yeah, I got to hit that sand in my 120. I know I do. I basically got to go in with a brand new clean brush.
That's exactly it. You're doing it to clean.
To clean.
For a purpose.
You got it. It's got a purpose. I'm not doing it to replenish anything. I've got supplements to dose stuff up. And do I need to change what's going on in my 120? I probably need Fritz Pro salt for that 120.
Yeah.
That coralline algae is so flippin' aggressive. And then somebody said, well, how would you fix that? I said, you really want to know? Yeah, about $800 worth of coral would fix it. Because that would start the uptake, right? And then that would, you know what I mean? It would starve the algae out, right? So what am I going to do? No, I'm going to throw a couple urchins in there to chew on the rock and start cleaning it off, right? And the little guy that's in here somewhere, he was out front, and he's gone somewhere now. But he's going in there, and I'm just going to let him go. Just go. Nuts. Right? And I'll get another one when I got the money. And, when you're dealing with it from that end of things, right, it's like, it's we all got different things we're trying to achieve with our tanks every time, right? We all want the same thing, though. I want a beautiful tank to look at with healthy fish and coral. That's what I want, right? I've even stopped saying fat and healthy because I don't know why people equate fat fish with healthy. I think they're right.
You leave my fat fish alone.
Well, hey, listen, we've all seen my fox face, right? There should be a tuba playing when he swims around. There should be when he's swimming, right? But that's because he's just been pretty dominant about getting the food, right?
He's just greedy.
He's just greedy. He's exactly it, right? I mean, he poops sand, for Christ's sake. Somebody, what? I said, come here. And they're watching the tank, and all of a sudden there he goes, and I said, yep, so he's cleaning my sand. Much to his own detriment. Let's be honest. Does that guy got rocks stuck in his guts? I'd bet on it. Yeah. But I can't stop him from doing it. What do? Take him out of the tank and smack him around? I'd love to. Death Mage said definitely do that with my clowns that were fighting all the time. They're still fighting all the time. And I'm like, I've tried it. I got in there. I smacked the female right in the face, boom, with my finger, and she just come right back and bit me. So I don't think that's going to work, right? Modifying fish behavior, it just isn't working for me. So maybe I do need to take him out and just, give him a taser. I'll give him the Logan Paul treatment, right? You fucking asshole. Oh, I was never so angry in my life as to watch a guy tasing a live fish. What the, what the hell are you doing? Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. No, I'm not joking. No, he actually did that. He tased a live fish. Yeah.
Did he say why, or was it just, here's something funny, smash?
I think it was, here's something funny, and he was trying to say it was dead, except, dude, it's moving. It's not dead. So you took this fish, and you're tasing this fish because you're for entertainment value, if anything else. And I know fish are stupid. And somebody said, what do you mean? Well, they're smart, but they're stupid. I mean, you take a fish. How many of you guys have gone fishing and caught the same fish?
Mm-hmm.
We've all done it, right? And it's like, well, what the hell did he bite that hook for again? He just took that through the lip, if not his brain. I actually watched one literally impale himself with a hook and come back and bite it again.
Well, I'm not being funny. My clownfish host egg crate. That says it all.
Oh, yeah, no, and that's because they're comfortable with that. There was a guy who had a tank with, those... now, here's the fun part, guys. Would you put brass in your fish tank?
No.
I wouldn't. But here's this guy's fish tank with a big brass shell right in the middle, and that's what the clownfish were hosting. Okay. And I'm like, huh. I said, well, listen, I said, I'm not to be a complete and utter douchebag here, but tell me when that starts to turn green. And he goes, well, what's the problem? I said, well, do you know what a major component of brass is? It's copper. Right? And he's like, oh, so he writes me one day, just a little while back, hey, Jeeves, what's going on, bro? Just for you. Love to get you in here, buddy. I said you should.
This coffee's good, Craig.
Oh yeah, shh. I'm already drinking one. Shh, it's all right, son. Of course I'm drinking coffee. Listen, what am I powered by? Me? It's coffee and cigarettes, man. It's a whore's lunch from dusk till dawn. I'll be sitting here going, yep, sugars are out of whack. More coffee.
I'm tempting you, Craig.
Already done. Listen. Jeeves, give me your email. I don't have that. I don't know what happened to my email list, Jeeves, so I'm going to have to fix it here, but wife was laughing at me. I finally hooked up my...
You should have mine by memory now, Craig.
You think I would, but I got a mind like a sieve, man.
You clownfish, Craig.
Yeah, I so am, man. Somebody asked me one day, they go, I said, my mind's like a trap door. It's an open and shut case, man. It really is. It's
Well, you could add to your whore's lunch. You could say that you like whore's legs.
That's what donuts are for. What's a diabetic lunch? That's when you have a Tim Hortons or a donut, right? With your coffee and your cigarette, right? What are you doing? I'm playing roulette. I'm trying to see how the rest of my day goes. Yeah. My pancreas is sitting next to me going, you are such an asshole.
Good luck, Craig. Good luck. You're rolling the dice.
Oh, I'll tell you. Well, you know what? I actually do look after myself pretty good. That's why I'm still here. But, somebody said, well, you're not going to live to 80. Don't want to. I don't want my born-again Christian son wiping my ass. Make sure you get it all. You missed it last time. I was itching for a week. It's like, I just don't need it. Thanks. There we go. So, Jeeves, that's been sent. Should get there soon, shortly. And I'll remove that because I don't want it in my chat. People can grab it. So, yeah, when you get... I think something... And we might all be able to agree on this, and I'll just kind of think it out through here, but all this not doing water changes, Triton method, dealing with this, Apex, it's like it's taken all the joy out of the hobby.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it is for me. Like, I look at this tank now, the bubble's going, and it cost me like $10 to set this up, and I absolutely see the results in this tank. I can test... with what I've got, like my pH meter, I went from barely pulling 7.8. This tank now is regularly 8.1, 8.2, right? And at night is only dropping to 7.9. Right? So it's staying relatively stable. The ATO is doing this thing. In fact, I've been working on being more regular with filling my auto top-off reservoirs because I'm really bad for that. All of a sudden, the thing goes off at 3 in the morning, like, oh, son of a bitch, right? But I don't not enjoy doing it. There was a point I wasn't enjoying it, especially when things go wrong. This is where, we get cheap equipment because somebody just loses it and says, to hell with this, right?
Yeah.
And I get it. I understand that feeling. We've all been there where that's enough of this, right? But I looked at it and go, but I love looking at the fish. I love looking at the coral. Dealing with the tank isn't all that bad, and I've learned to deal with the problems as they come. I think the ones who get out are the ones that never learned how to deal with the issue. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or they're too busy throwing chemicals. The holy hand grenade of Antioch is thrown. They counted to 3, not 4, not 5, but 3, and threw it. And then when their tank went nuke and they lost everything, they just get disheartened and they quit, right? So,
But we need to, I told you before, Craig, we need those people. That's how I get my $800 Apex for $400.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's how I get my $700 Radeon for $400.
No, exactly, right?
The summer's here, brother. The summer's here. They want that sunshine.
Yeah. It's that's the other thing too. I've been watching Kijiji for somebody who's like, oh, screw this, and selling their stuff so I can go out and scoop it up, right?
Not really. I'm joking. Well, I'm halfway serious on that, but no, I want people to be successful, but there's always going to be.
I don't wish failure on anybody, but I know it's coming. Right? I got a guy right now. I'm just waiting.
The last 2 days here have been absolutely sunny. I've spent the last 2 days on eBay and Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm not seriously. As soon as that sunshine come out, I got myself a new Magus C5 for £30.
Yeah.
I got myself a Bubble Magnus doser. I don't even need a doser, but I got it for 20.
Well, you can pack that up and send it. That's good.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, so you're the one who outbid me then.
Yeah, there you go. Right. How you doing today, Jeeves?
Jeez, that's dirt cheap.
Oh, finally getting to eat something for the first time today.
Well, there you go. You at work or are you home, son?
No, I'm work.
Yeah.
It's a busy day, and I got 2 trainees with me too.
I remember you mentioning that. So.
Oh man.
So it's a bad day then, Jeeves. This is a bad day.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just hungry. Once I get some food, I'll be good. I am hungry though.
Well, now you got trainees around. You got to really act like you know what you're doing, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? I know what I'm doing.
I sent them over to go bug the other guy for a little while since I'm already started.
Peace.
Exactly. Nope.
One of the things I...
Go ahead, Bees.
Go ahead. One of the things that I think's fascinating about the hobby is how so many people, when setting up a tank, it's promoted time after time, and everyone accepts it. Nothing happens fast in the reefing hobby. Take your time. Don't be impatient. Don't chuck everything in. But as soon as something goes wrong, that all goes out the window. It's like,
do you know what they
did?
No, exactly. They turned into the Muppet from Sesame Street, the guy that played the piano. Oh, I'll never bang and bang and bang, and they're gone. Right? You know what I mean? Like, that's exactly where they're from, right? And yes, Michael Aaron, that was for you. That's a reference you'll never get. So.
The majority of issues that you get aren't going to kill a tank overnight.
Yeah.
The majority of the issues is generally unsightly things, algae and bits that you don't want to see.
Yep.
If you get, like I had it, when the fish got, it was one of my wrasse got it, it wasn't a jump and panic, it was, okay, it's got it. I've now got a week to get a tank set up, get it running, get fish into it, start the treatment.
Yep.
It wasn't oh shit, I have to do it now, I've one day. When it was velvet, that was another matter.
That's another thing, yeah.
Yeah. But again, they're all different to the individual cause. But people who just, I find it so funny when it's, oh yeah, we've done this, we've gone slow, we've done this. Something's wrong. I'm going to chuck this bottle in.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even know what that bottle's going to do.
It's like 0 to 100 in 6 seconds.
Yeah, it's like the main one's algae, and people like Rotter. He put the.
Did anybody see his update? Did anybody see his update today?
He's got an update. That's what I was just ready to say, Craig. I haven't seen it yet, but it's how to kill green algae.
When you look at it, tell me if he got rid of all the algae. Yeah.
I mean, he's.
But he jumps on things so fast. You know, like, try this. That didn't work. Screw it. 2 days later, you try something else. That didn't work either. You know?
He is, if he is ever the reefer that I talk about, I say the holy hand grenade of Antioch. The other one is fire in the hole. You know, he's the first one to do, and you know, God bless him that he's still got everything alive. But you know what? It's really hard to kill fish. It's easy to wipe out your coral. It's harder to kill fish.
Lost any fish. That's true.
No,
That's
and
true.
his corals have suffered. If you look at it, he's like, oh, they're open and they're there. When the lights come on, it's like, yeah, those stalks on those pallies are awfully white, buddy. Yeah, you know, they're awfully white. You know.
He's like, just if anything could go wrong, it seems to go wrong for him.
Yeah, I feel for him. Go ahead.
There's not actually enough information on every product. That's the problem. You think of a simple thing like a refugium. We sit here and we talk. We're the blame. Us YouTubers are the blame for certain things because we sit here and we chat, and Bees has just proved this. Yeah, we sit there and chat, and we go off on a tandem. Like we turn around and go, oh, nitrates and phosphates are high. Throw some Cheeto in a refugium. Yeah, we don't sit there and talk about how it can take 2 weeks to a couple of months for that Cheeto to even start working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't mention what lighting you got to use, what sort of flow you got to use. We was talking about water changing, and Bees proved this 100% that we are to blame. We was talking about water changes, and we was talking about a water change will solve problems. Now, us as well-minded reefers sit there and go, we know exactly what we're talking about. B's come in and said, actually, it won't solve all problems. It won't replenish everything because we didn't mention what type of system we're using, what type of system that would work for. Do you know what I mean? So I think we're somewhat to blame with these people as well.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's exactly
what I mean?
People assume things. So you're saying, "Oh, my nitrates are high," right? But what's your method to get rid of it? What are you doing already? Are you even doing anything?
Yeah, how are you exporting it?
Well,
we're quick to give out the solutions. We don't actually sit there and in detail, step by step, because we know. To us, we know everything. Do you know what I mean? I think sometimes we forget.
Yeah.
You say that, and I know everyone thinks like, yeah, we know this, we know this, we know this. But who here has the perfect tank?
No, don't be silly.
Exactly. So you've got all the theories and logics, but no one has that perfect result.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No, everyone's like, yeah, let's do this, let's do that, let's that. It's great, you'll be brilliant with it. But then there's still, for every solution, there's another problem.
Of course. Of course.
Totally agree. Yeah, totally agree.
I'm done with the self-criticism because I've made myself feel bad enough. Let's talk about something else.
I was going to
know
say,
what the hell we're doing.
Right, so positive news.
Yeah.
I don't know who else was in the chat earlier when I was on about the fish tank. I know Craig was. I'd seen a clear seal Reef C something or other 700. It's a 175 litre tank with a sump.
Yep.
The guys bought it and he had good intentions. He's got a tropical tank. Thought about setting up a marine tank, put it in his living room. Water didn't even touch it. That tank retails at 450.
Yep.
Is that on Facebook?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Did you comment on it?
No, I messaged him direct.
All right.
But yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think I said the same one.
Yeah, so
is there,
now just
is there,
£170, and it was just okay. Messaged him, found out about it, jumped in the chat. What do you guys think? It's like it's a third of the price, and it's not been wet. What do you think you were gonna think? So I had a look today. I went round after work, and it was spotless. It needed a bit of a dust clean.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's no scratches. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
So it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I'll be biting the man's arm off to take it.
Yeah.
Well, I messaged him within 15-20 minutes because it popped up on. It was on Facebook. It was.
I was just about to ask you. Did you go?
Yeah.
I had to step away for a moment, guys. My male cat was being a sook, for lack of a better. No. He's great. My old guy's fine. My young one, he's the douche.
Aquarium equipment market?
So yeah,
Okay, wait a minute. We're gonna go do
that was really quiet. I don't know who was talking then, but
that was
really
Tim.
Quiet. I can barely hear.
Yeah.
I had Tim turned up, but I think he's walked away from it. Tim, Craigslist for you in the States. Kijiji here, and if you check the forums, local forums and that, like you can find out what clubs you have, you'll always find used stuff, man. Always. So did you jump on that, Bees? No, we don't really here. Yeah, we had one here. I think it broke out in a fist fight. So, yeah, that's the thing about Canadians. We're kind of like the Irish. You put us all in one room, and it's probably going to go badly at some point, right?
But you Canadian people are also nice.
I'm sat next to my half-Irish girlfriend who's taken really offence by that.
No, because it works out the same way. Fuck you, no, fuck you. No, I love you, man. You're like a brother. You know, like, yeah, it's...
I was going to say, but notice how she started to kick off. You know, it's kind of proving the theory, isn't it?
Well, sorry, I'll give you the standard Canadian response. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'll give her a bit of Canadian kung fu. I'm so sorry, you fucking... Right? Like, everyone thinks we're so polite. I'm sitting there going, you have no idea. Oh, you're from another country. How are you? Well, be friendly here. Have some poutine. Da, 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 da. And when we walk away, idiot. Yeah.
But you always sound so happy.
Oh, we do. Yeah, we're so joyous. Greg, how are you? Yeah, you know, it's cold, it's raining, it's whatever it is, and I'm pissed off. How's your day there, buddy? Yeah. Oh wait, just for you. It's all about this, huh? Yeah, right. Fuck.
Don't, please, don't start me
Well,
off.
listen, the other day, I forget what stream I was listening to, but it was Michael and a couple of other you Brits was on there going at each other.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm northern and I'm eastern and I'm going, I don't even know. What the hell is
Oh,
this?
geez, Mage. Listen. Mage just said, laugh out loud, are you saying Canadians are fake, Craig? I'm tapping my nose and saying no. Right? There are some, like, it's really funny. I think we're really genuinely friendly to anyone who's from another country when they come in and they visit. But to each other, the minute I find out you're another Canadian, it is so bloody. Like, I will have them call me, like, when I did tech support, the rudest people I dealt with were Canadians. Like, it just boggled the mind. Like, I sat there, I said, and the guy goes, oh, it isn't like that. I said, dude, I've been doing this for like 15 years. I said, the first person I said that ever told me off was this little old lady in Ontario. And called me every name in the book. And it was nothing to do, you know, it's just, it boggles your mind. You're like, wow, you know, everyone thinks Americans are like that. The sweetest people I ever talk to sometimes were American. So I
fine as long as that we're foreign, yeah?
Yeah, well, that's just it. It's like the minute you guys come to visit, you'll be shown around the town. Everyone will be friendly. They might walk away with the Canadian kung fu. I'm like, idiot. You know.
Yeah, but it's probably like any group, you know, where you Canadians or the Brits or the Americans can be arguing amongst themselves, but somebody comes in from another country and starts saying something, and it's like, wait, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, you'll have all three of the brothers sitting there looking at you going, you're an idiot. You know what we did to Hitler, right? Yeah, you know.
What the hell are you talking about? You know, it's like, and you could have just been calling the guy some kind of ridiculous name 2 seconds before, and it's like somebody criticizes him from another country. You go, what the hell are you talking about?
I was laughing with, who was it? I think it was Paul. I said, well, we can all agree we all hate the French. They're just entirely too rude. I kid, but yeah.
I still have to laugh at Annika because she couldn't do a British accent until she heard me speak. Yeah. And now, every time she does a British accent,
she does a Cockney. Like she does a Cockney. Yeah, exactly. Because that's the one everybody latches onto.
She tries to do a Cockney.
She tries to do a Cockney.
I don't even know what the hell that is. So.
My favorite
from East London. There's people from East London.
East London, yeah.
A true Cockney is a person who was born within the sound of bow bells. That is a true Cockney.
Yeah.
It certainly was.
And my dad was a true Cockney. So he was
Where
actually
was he from, Reefer?
He was from Bermondsey and all that lot, around that area originally.
So that's quite a way. That's more of a. It's not more central. It's more on the outskirts, isn't it?
Yeah. But he was actually born, like I said, within the sound of bow bells, so he was a proper Cockney.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those with kids, I will give you this. I'll be honest with you. Go ahead.
How about Paul? Where's Paul from?
Paul's.
I have trouble
he's up.
Paul sometimes.
Yeah. He's up north though.
He's up north.
He's a northerner. Yeah. I'm a southerner.
Well, I know Michael Aaron's Manchester.
He's a northerner.
He's a mank.
Yeah, I think
he's a Mancunian.
Yeah, he's a wanker. He's a wanker. But
Paul's a mank as well.
Yeah.
He's a Mancunian.
And that's just it. You know what? I think the thing that we all enjoy is that we will take the piss out of each other really quick. Right? Because, you know, it's you could never get too big for your britches in here anyway. Because the simple fact of the matter is we've all seen each other screw up. You know. Epsom salts in the Thames, anyone? Yeah, go ahead.
Don't. That's the bane of my existence, that tank. That really is the bane of my existence. I've been round there and it actually looks quite good today, so I'm not going to fuss too much.
Nope, there you go.
The thing is, we've got to feel sorry for Michael Moore because Michael doesn't only get it on YouTube, he gets it on Facebook.
Oh, he gets it everywhere,
and text messages
Yep.
and WhatsApp.
You know,
You
like
name it, he gets it.
It's funny. His new frogfish there, Freddie.
Yep.
He was eating ramen noodles. Did you guys see that last night? And that fish was literally looking at him like, "Hey, you're eating noodles. Feed them to me. Do it." He literally looked like he looked like Hans from American Dad, right? You know, again German. You know, you know, yeah, you know.
But he gets it. He went on a family holiday to Devon, and I couldn't help but comment on the picture of him and his children. And I said, "Is that you standing up, Michael, next to them?" And he was sitting down.
Way to prod the bear, buddy. Way to prod the bear. Yeah.
Yeah, he went to Dorset, not Devon.
Oh, was it Dorset? Was it?
Dorset. He went to Dorset. No, he was in Dorset.
He kept on telling, because I now live in Devon, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to Devon. I'm going to Devon." Then he turned around and said to his wife, he said, "Where am I going?" He went, "Dorset." So yeah. But yeah.
He basically mugged you off, didn't he, Raven? Basically.
Do I? Yeah.
He basically mugged you off, didn't he?
Yeah. So. But yeah.
Mugged off means take the piss out of.
Yeah. But no, but originally, like I said, I'm from southeast London.
There you go.
So, whereabouts in southeast London? I'm just being nosy now.
No, I'm technically a Catatonian, so I was born in southeast London.
To
Catford.
everyone up north, that's just you're a southerner.
Yeah, I'm a southerner.
Who's the one with the Irish girlfriend? That you, Tony, or is it Bees?
No, that's
Bees.
me.
That's you.
Yeah.
So Blinky Fish is Irish?
No, it's not Blinky Fish. It's Shelley.
Shelleyfish. Okay, right. So why was I thinking? Oh, whatever. That shows you. Yeah.
My missus is more common than I am, so.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, where I'm from, we invented something called the kitchen party. So for whatever reason in New Brunswick, when you have a party, actually in the Maritimes in general here, the East Coast of Canada, every party winds up, everybody's in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where everybody's playing their instruments. And that's where everybody's, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't even want to be here now. Why? Well, I want to relax and sit down, man. You're like all standing up in the kitchen. You guys go right ahead. But we originated that. You're welcome. So.
But that's what they say, and all good parties end up in the kitchen.
All good parties end up in the kitchen. Yeah. Why? Because that's where the food is, and that's usually where the entertainment is.
And the beer.
And the beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no. So.
You guys are gonna think this is funny, and this is gonna tell you again how old I am. But I can remember back in the early '60s when the Beatles first appeared on the scene, and I was really young and listened to music at night on a 6 transistor radio. And I can remember when the Beatles it was just I Want to Hold Your Hand, Love,
Yeah, the original run. Yeah.
I heard them, and I heard that they were from England. But I can remember being amazed the first time I saw them in a live news, whatever, and they were speaking, and they had this British accent. And I'm going, they don't sound like that on the records I'm listening to.
You never noticed that? You never noticed that all the British guys is like, all right, we're going to rock this one out, and then perfect English when they're singing.
Yeah.
And the Americans are like, yeah, this is our new song, I love you, and they sing like they're British. Yeah, it's one of those things.
But later on, you figure out when things unfold as life goes on and stuff, but you find out that some of their heroes, some of the guys that they looked up to in the music industry were American.
We're American blues.
Yeah, rhythm and blues. They were trying to emulate the sound that they were hearing. And so I just remember being amazed at their accent. I go, these guys really are from England.
Every time British guys get too uppity about their rock music, and let's face it, there's some amazing things that have come out of England.
Oh yeah.
But I'll just sit there when they're getting too full of themselves. Yeah, Gary Glitter.
Gary Glitter.
Right?
Well, you guys don't remember, but right after the Beatles and Stones, everybody hit, we had this glut of, everybody from Britain was joining the invasion.
Yep.
Freddie and the Dreamers. There was some crap coming out of Britain too, But But the Americans were buying it all up because it was the British invasion. You know?
Well, it's the same thing. Is that if you liked '80s metal, you got to thank the new wave of British heavy metal, because Judas Priest, Def Leppard, all those bands are what kind of kicked that off.
Yeah.
Right? Now, it was always funny that the new wave of British metal included Def Leppard because they were nothing like the other bands that were included in this. You know, we're talking about Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. These bands were completely different. You know, they just wanted to be a rock band. They didn't want to be a heavy metal band. They just got lumped in because they had long hair, right? I love it all. You know, I said that to a buddy. Like, I had my mixtape from 1982 for almost 20 years. And I listened to it again and went, wow, at least I had good taste in music. But what was really funny is here's all this hard rock Prince. Right? All this hard rock, heavy metal, hard rock, and the Police. Right? Yeah. So a friend of mine even said, like, I love the Police. I hate Sting. I love the Police.
Yeah. You don't like Sting?
I don't like hearing him talk. That man can shut up, sing my song. You know, it's like, you know, that's, once you get to a certain point and you're that, for lack, pretentious would be the description of Sting. That is the most pretentious person on the planet. You know what I mean? Like, wow, true. That's all you can say about it. Shut up and sing some Police songs and stop doing your stuff, your solo stuff. You know, blah blah blah. It's like when they got on the reunion tour, and I love it when people get all mad because they watch it. And it's like, well, it doesn't sound like the record. The Police never sounded like the record, buddy. The record was to get out and tour so that they could do their thing. You know, like one of my favorite songs, I don't know if you guys are familiar with, is Be My Girl by the Police. That whole middle piece with Andy Summers talking about getting drunk and unconscious and having sex with an inflatable doll is so...
So that's your favorite one?
That's my favorite Police song, is one of my favorites, yeah. It should, you got to listen to it, right? Because it's not, I don't even think there's a verse. As I recall, it's just the chorus. Won't you be my girl? Won't you be my girl? And it just does this, and then all of a sudden, you know, I can only get unconscious when I've had too much to drink. And if I'm feeling naughty, I give Hitler up with air. You know, and then it goes back into this chorus again. I'm like, that's brilliant. Nobody else would have done that. You know, and that was, what, 1979 or whatever, right? And, you know, it's I guess it's kind of like how I reef. I don't want just one. I think that's why a lot of people like mixed reef, right? You know, I love Styx. I love, you know, for lack of a better term, I love looking at Acropore and Montecore.
Eventually, we bring the conversation back to the reef.
I was going to say that was a nice. That was a nice segue. That was.
Did you like that? That was slick, right?
That was.
Yeah. I talk. Hey man, I talk radio the shit out of that.
I myself butted and sliding across the floor.
I think you're reaching now.
You know, that was talent. You're welcome. I'm here all week. Thank you. Yeah, it's one of those things though. It really is. Like if you think about it, it's like we spend more. I don't know. I was saying to Cruz there the other night. It's funny. I think we spend half our time pissing and shitting around, and then we talk about reefing. And then we're back to being a bunch of idiots again. And it doesn't matter which channel. Go to them all. We all do it.
Do it, yep.
Right? Because you can't sit here and talk reefing 24/7. I mean, we try. You know, and there
is one channel we don't.
And
there is one channel we don't. Michael's.
Well,
Michael's.
Yeah.
When we solve the Reefer's problem, then we send them on their way.
Send them on their way. Yeah, exactly. You're on your way. Good. All right. So listen. Did anybody see that new whatever? You know, like it's, you know, somebody said, what movies are you looking forward to? All of them. I don't care. You know, there was a time I was. You ever seen those Movie Hound guides? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The Movie Hound.
Nope.
So back in the day with video stores, when that was a thing, they used to purchase these things called the Video Hound Guide, so you could actually say by topic or an actor, and we could find it because there was no internet, you know, or the internet was not what we use today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Google wasn't even around. So, and I was laughing with a friend of mine.
Oh, you're kidding.
We went through this Video Hound Guide, which had every movie ever made to that year. Okay, $35 this book cost. And with a highlighter, I had to either identify the plot or the actor to say I had seen that movie. Right? Now, I worked at a video store. You guys want to guess how many movies I'd seen?
Well,
it was well over 8,000 when we stopped. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, if you do that by an hour and a half, I've wasted my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when did I find time to learn how to play guitar? You know, like it was, you don't think you do that, but you do, right? It's
that
like
is reefing all over.
Yeah,
that's reefing all over.
So you can see where I can easily get involved with something, right? And saltwater fish was always a thing, right from the moment, and I know the moment it hit me, and it was 2001, and I went to a place called the Jungle Shop, and they had a saltwater fish tank up front, and what was in it? A Voltan lionfish. And they fed it in front of me, and I was hooked. Absolutely just enthralled with this, right?
The one we can't keep, yeah.
Yeah, well, you
The
know.
one we can't keep.
On that note, what are you saying, Jeeves?
On that note, what dwarf lionfish should I go with for my 75?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk reef stuff?
No comment. No comment. You know what? Everybody watched Joey feed his lionfish.
Yeah.
And I love how he was like, I'm against feeding them live fish, and he's got that molly by the tail. And I'm like,
yeah.
And it got him switched over, and I'm glad he did. Because some people want to do that, and I'm happy that Michael, Freddie's eating frozen food now too, right? But there's always that one, guys. There's,
But Joey did put out a video the next day on it as well.
Yeah.
Oh, he took a lot of heat. He took a lot of heat.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, guys.
It was from both sides as well, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, for and against it. Yep.
It was. And he did say, I'm going to feed this. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it.
Don't watch it. He warned you up front.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was going to say, he was so right. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think with what he was saying is as well is this is not a fish room. This is a fish aquarium gallery.
A gallery.
Where I want you to learn about the fish. Yeah.
Yep.
And so basically what he was saying was. I believe what he was saying was correct. Exactly correct. What he was saying is, if you feed them like this is what you can have. These are the results. If you feed them, like I was saying, like if you feed them goldfish, they're not very good for them. Yeah.
No, they are. Yeah.
Breeder
but
fish.
have you ever seen a tiger Oscar hit a goldfish?
Exactly.
Exactly. No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gold dust goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he was saying these feeder fish, they're raised very, very quickly, and they're very, very badly bred.
Yeah, if you're not gut loading it, it's worthless anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what he was saying is, yes, you could do it, and it's a part of the hobby we don't like, or I don't like, but I have to do it to get him onto the stuff that I do want him to get on.
Right, and he did it. He showed that he did it, right, which is the whole point. But man, there are people that it's the same thing with the snakes, right?
I used to keep snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to keep snakes, and I had to go and get pinkies,
Yep.
So I had to go there and get like little pinkies to feed my snakes, or to feed my snake, and I eventually sort of like had to wean him off, because I can't keep going to the pet shop saying I need some baby mice, So, but again, I got him off of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
eventually, exactly, right?
Yeah.
But it's the world is so bloody politically correct. It's the same thing with fish. So you watch my my channel here. You're watching my fish, and those two clownfish beat the crap out of each other.
Yep.
I got comments from people that are like, "Oh, you should do something about that," and like Mage and me joked around. What do you want me to do? Smack them around?
Yeah.
Behave? You got to go into timeout? Like no. Go ahead.
You look at a nature show like Blue Planet, and they showed one of the distressing ones was a baby whale. It was the original Blue Planet. Baby whale getting attacked by the killer whale.
Yeah.
And it was distressing. It was horrible, but that was nature, so they considered, oh no, that's natural, it's fine. But that was a fish tank. You shouldn't have fed that.
Oh, they'd have. You know what else is like that? Did you guys ever watch Blackfish?
Yeah.
Right, the one about keeping the orcas in captivity and everything, right? But that's okay. Oh, well, it's distressing. Of course it is. Right? Do I agree with it? No. Right? But they keep doing it. And don't watch The Cove. If you really want to be horrified, don't watch The Cove. Yeah. That was a
The moral
mistake.
of it all is, we all have our own way of doing things.
Yep.
And we can't please everybody.
Yep.
No, and that's just it. Yeah, you can't please everybody. You just can't.
Yeah.
Like, you come in here,
Yeah.
you're going to hear the odd curse word. You're going to hear that. My stream isn't kid-friendly per se. But if I knew there was a kid, I'd have everybody stop. Immediately stop.
Yeah.
You know, if Bees came on and said, you know, I'm just using you as an example, you know, my kids are in the room, then we're done.
Yeah.
Right? Keep the language out, watch the blue talk, so to speak, right? You know, watch the innuendo, because you just never know, right? But unfortunately, I can't ever know unless you say something.
Yep.
Right? So, you know, I try to keep that. Apparently, it's just ignore the fact that I'm up.
Yeah, into World Wilds just
come up.
Just came on, yeah.
Get him told. Yeah. Must have heard you saying, oh, he's from Manchester.
Yeah.
Manchester, yeah.
Give me a sec. Yeah, his ears must have been burning, huh?
Yeah.
Bear with me a sec here, guys.
Who was that?
Reef.
Yeah. Paul's just jumped on.
That was he?
Yeah, on his chat.
Yeah, he just jumped into.
How long has he been listening into us?
I have no idea. He's not in here. He started his own stream.
He's on his own stream, yeah. Yeah.
But no, you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
No, not at all. You really can't.
It's the saying. Yeah. It's the saying, though, isn't it? You can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time.
No, not at all.
But it's like, sorry to bring this subject again for a millionth time, Craig. It's like, I run IC management. The amount of stick that I get to that, but I don't have the facility to quarantine.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
But the amount of people that feel it's their job to tell me I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Even though I've done it for years. Don't believe.
You deal with it. You deal with it,
Yeah.
or you quarantine it.
Yeah, or you hospitalize, right? You only have so many choices, right? And I don't disagree with any of that. If you need to do it that way because that's what you can afford to do, and you're willing to accept whatever comes of that, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
You're not torturing your fish. Yeah.
No. In an ideal world, we'd all have quarantine tanks. We'd have multiple quarantine tanks.
In an ideal world, you wouldn't need them.
No, you wouldn't. I mean, it's the bane of our existence, that and the unmentionable velvet.
Yeah, velvet.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so.
Recently, there was, in one of the areas near me, in one of the buy, sell and swap groups, there was a girl who had a tropical tank, and she just had a couple of fish that died. They were ending up with like a big slimy coat on them, and she had no idea why. She had a few new fishes that were added, but they were fine. And it was some clown loaches first, and a polar shark. And the group chat, well, it was the comments on it. Everyone was just saying, "It's it, it's it, it's it." And then someone asked, "Is there any white spots?" No. Right, that doesn't completely write it off, but you'd assume if you had fish dying from ick, they're going to be covered in ick, not just a little bit of it.
Generally, that's the case, correct. Yeah.
So they weren't considering that, but they were still going, "No, buy ick treatment, buy ick treatment. It might be velvet, it might be," and they were going through all these different things, and I'm like, so I just went, so ended up just writing a few things, a lot of things, and then she actually, I don't know if it was a girl or a guy actually, but they messaged me saying, right, I've shut the chat down because everyone was just saying white spot, ick, get marine fix, what melafix, and there's just no sense. Like, look, if you've introduced a new fish, it sounds like it was a spike because you're getting ammonia.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's the thing that's most likely killed them. That's what your tests are showing.
And that's what you should test.
High.
Exactly.
Yeah. Your nitrates are now showing stupidly high because something in your tank's dead. You said you've 2 missing fish that you haven't found, and you just assumed that they'd been eaten or whatever. Like, search your tank, find this ammonia. Something will have died. You haven't found it. The ammonia rose. It killed the other. You didn't see them. You didn't see them disappear. Then something else has happened. That's kept rising. Something else has died. But then you spotted that one, and that's when you took an action. No one was doing the background research to say, look, there's these problems here. You've took the risk. This has happened. Everyone's just showering you with a shit of information and not actually looking at what's gone on here. So after her doing a couple of tests and whatever else for the next few days, she went back to it. He came back to us like, right, I found it. There was 2 fish that were stuck in an ornament.
Yep.
And once you took them out.
Was that on a forum, Bees?
No, it was on Facebook. One of my friends actually tagged me going, Luke, fish guy. So, and that was it. It was because some fish had died, got trapped, probably from the stress of the new fish. And everyone else was just completely missing the whole point of it. It was, look, symptoms have been mentioned, the aftermath's been shown, but everyone's just saying stick a bottle in, stick a bottle in, stick a bottle in.
So that's the problem with Facebook and forums. Can anyone here actually identify the difference between ick and marine velvet through a picture?
Not unless it's really, really bad velvet.
Yeah, really bad velvet or really up close.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, no.
You're running on hours and even minutes.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. When it gets to that point. So I don't understand why people have to sit there and go, you got velvet, you got ick, you got velvet, you got ick.
Well, scary enough, people will do that with human illnesses. Oh, you've got cancer. Oh, you've got this. It's like, yeah, okay.
Do you know how many times I've died on Google? The amount of times I've died on Google.
Oh, yeah.
My arse is literally fallen out. According to Google.
Symptoms, my foot's hurting a bit. Oh, yeah, you're having a stroke. What?
Really, you just got indigestion. or you got a cramp in your jaw.
Or my wife, I'm having a heart attack. You're not having a heart attack. You're 30 years old. You're not having a heart attack.
You've still got the washing up to do. You've got the bin to take out.
No, I told her, I said, you've got a pinched nerve in your neck. Well, how do you know? How do you know? I said, Jessica, how do you sit at your desk at work? However the chair is. I said, mistake number 1. I said, and I sent her a video on ergonomics and body posture because we had to learn all that for a safety video.
Yeah.
You know, so then they got her backwards, so she sits the wrong way around on the chair.
Yeah. So, she got a new chair, and I made her watch that video, and she got a new chair and adjusted it. She's like, oh, it doesn't hurt as much anymore. And I knew what it was because, like, if she'd sit there and I'd massage, like, her shoulder where it meets the neck for about 5 minutes, the pain would start going away. I said, you got a pinched nerve from sitting wrong or a strained muscle.
I guarantee one thing, though, Tim. I bet it was her idea in the end of it all, yeah?
Yeah, more than likely. More than likely. That's a free massage.
Yeah.
Would it have might have been hers?
There you go.
See, she knows. She knows.
I just got Paul. I don't think I upset him. I hope I didn't. I just joked around. I said, oh, so I guess I should shut mine down then. Yeah. And he's like, no need to. Anybody can stream. And I'm like, I'm just having fun at you, right? Yeah.
This is where all the important people are at.
That's it. We talk about back posture on here, not just reefing.
Yeah.
Back to reefing though. Raven, how did you get on with the fish tank salt situation?
I siphoned it back through the socks, and it's still the same. Still the same at the moment.
Wait, give me some backstory on this.
Yeah.
Is this the one that was your brother's tank and they were getting the seawater and?
No, that's mine.
No.
That's Tony's. That's mine.
Basically, I've got a Red Sea Reefer, basically tank from scratch, and I put all the water in, all the RO water in, and I mixed all the salt in and everything. And basically, it's precipitated, and it's Red Sea Pro, and it basically precipitated big time.
And you've got the heaters in it?
Sorry?
Do you have the heaters in the tank or a heater?
Yeah, there's heater. Yeah, there's a heater in it. It's heating and everything. But I also mixed up another batch in a bucket, and it precipitated as well. So
bad salt. It sounds like.
Yeah. So basically, what I done was I was siphoning it from the top into the sump through the filter sock.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, sort of like all it done was went through the it's so fine, it went through the filter sock. So what I was going to do was try and get some filter floss and stick that in the filter sock, and then repump it round again.
Yeah, I mean that'll kind of work.
Yeah. So
if it's persistent, if it's done that,
yeah.
do you want to use the salt once the tank's active, or do you want a fresh start on it? Because for me, that salt's got a problem with it. And
I mean,
if you mix anything else into with it, what's going to happen?
That's the black bucket.
Live stuck in.
If you can see it there. Don't know if you can see it.
Did you try bubbling this yet? Honestly?
Bubbling? No.
Get a wood air.
It's so fine.
That'll lift it up, won't it?
Yeah, it's so fine that it just actually went through the
filter sock. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it went through the filter sock. So what I have done now is I've got another unpackaging.
Your RODI unit, yeah.
Yeah, so I've got an RODI unit. So what I might do is I might see. I could like I say, I could either leave the water in now.
Where are you in the UK now?
I'm North Devon.
Okay.
So that's black bucket, Coral Pro, or the blue bucket?
Pro is the black bucket.
The black bucket, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. See, I don't like that stuff because when I got my 75, I had to do some. I got it already running at a guy's house with fish in it, and I just transferred it. And I should have just given the fish to the LFS and started over. But I didn't. I transferred it all. I did throw the sand away, but I used as much of his water as I could. And with it, he gave me a bucket and a half of Coral Pro, and so I had to do big water changes because his nitrates were above 160.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. And then the first time I went to check alkalinity, my alkalinity was a 12.5 in the tank.
Jesus.
Because of the Coral Pro. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try bubbling it, man. I'm not kidding. Throw a wood airstone in there and just bubble the living crap out of that, and see if it picks that up and gets that off there for you, and actually gets it out of the tank, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cheap try. And if it doesn't, then you know what you're into. We've talked about that before, that you're going to have to, you're going to have to empty it out and start over with it, right?
Yeah. I've gone and bought another bucket of Aquaforest Pro. Probiotic.
Yeah.
So.
I've personally used Aquatics Coral Salt.
Yeah.
That's what I use.
I'm very impressed with it. It's mixed within half an hour, and it's the results in my tank. I mean, I'm not an experienced reefer. I've been doing it nearly a year now, and it's I've not had any issues at all with it. I've had a few buckets. It mixes fast. The corals seem to like it, and my parameters are where they need to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as like my Aquaforest Pro. I mean, the only reason why I didn't use Aquaforest Pro is because I had a bucket of Red Sea Pro given to me, and I thought, might as well just use that. It's going to be a big chunk of salt going into that tank.
To be fair, Red Sea's one of the names that you see and trust, though, isn't it, as well? So
you would think.
Was it
you see you're given that, and you're like, wow, I've got a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, how set
was it open? Was the barrel open when you got it?
It was given to me, yeah. So it was,
That might be your problem.
But it was basically a brand new one. He said, I only used a little bit of salt out of it. Here you go. I'm not doing it no more. There you go.
It must have gotten moisture though.
As soon as salts are open and you use it, you got to put the lid straight back on, because even a second of exposure is drawing in moisture.
Yeah, I mean it was close when I got it and everything, but like I said, he just said I just used a little piece of this salt out, and literally this thing was filled to the brim, so he only used a little bit.
But
and he said no.
That could be a problem.
Yeah, but the lid on them things are bloody hard to get on and off.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, and it was, like I said, it was shut completely.
Yeah.
So I know it was like, I say airtight, but it was as airtight as it could have been.
Yeah.
So, and what I did as well was, everyone said, did I mix the salt up? Yes, I did. I actually took the thing out of the bucket, and then spent the next half an hour putting it back in the bucket. Because if you ever take one of them out with all the salt, it's really hard to. How did all this salt come out?
Yeah.
This bucket, back in the pack. So yeah, I did take the salt out and mix it around.
So I agreed. It's a bad batch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm the same as you, Bees. I use the Intonation Aqua.
Yeah.
And
no, Aquatics is different.
Aquatics,
yeah.
Well, I use the same one as you, and I've used that one. You've got base levels on your supplements, on your trace element, but it gives you that starting point. I always find it perfect. So maybe that's one to think about if you do change the salts.
So I'll be setting up another that 175 I'm getting, and that I'll be doing the same, just chucking in the salt into that. Got the RO unit downstairs running into a water, just a water butt. That's 100 litres. I'll chuck that in, let it fill up again. Fill it. I might even actually. I've got a couple of 25 litre jerry cans that are there for store at the minute. I might empty it into them, let it fill up, and then I've already got 175 ready to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it's all ready to just stick in one.
Yeah.
And then I've got the sump, which is another 70, I think.
But it's like what I said. If I do end up dumping the water, I'm gonna have to take the sump out as well, give that a good clean, because there's crap in that as well.
You're gonna have to completely dry it and clean it.
Yeah. So what I'll probably end up doing is I probably will end up dumping the water, to be honest with you. And what I'll do is I will mix up. I'll do the RO in a bucket type of thing. Mix up the salt, put that, and then put that into the tank. Mix up another one, and do each one per bucket.
Yep.
I mean, it's been like 2 weeks that's been in there as well.
Yeah,
so It's not like it hasn't had a chance to mix.
Yeah.
Exactly. We were already talking about that, so.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, there's no real flow in there now, because I've taken the return pump out and it's just pumping round and round. That way, there's no actual. I put my little J-bow in there from the nano tank and such, and that's got no push in there. You could tell there's nothing really. It's not moving the water as if it is as in the nano. So I do know that I'm gonna have to put some pumps in there, some wave makers or something. Well, so.
Hey Raven, sorry, I had to chime out for a second. I wanted to tell you, if you're dead set on keeping that water and getting that crap out of there, if you slow siphon it, use a coffee filter. Use a funnel and a coffee filter. Coffee filter should catch that.
All right.
It would. Yeah, a coffee filter would do a pretty good job, but.
Yeah.
Look at that, thinking out the box. Thinking out the box.
Yeah, thinking about coffee again. That's what it was.
No, I was actually thinking filter paper, because we used to use filter paper to keep all the fine particles out of some of our tests we had to run.
Yeah.
For drilling
fluids. I was going to use some like filter floss to put in there, because that's quite fine.
Yeah. If you're going to do
you
filter floss,
you might roll it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, roll it up or buy the. Do y'all have Walmarts?
No.
No, we don't have Walmart.
No. Y'all have something similar, right?
What are you thinking about the pads? The filter pads?
No, the polyester fiber seal for pillows.
Yeah, that's it's basically filter floss.
Yeah, it's just you can buy that big, and what you might want to look at is, instead of just stuffing that in somewhere, maybe getting I'm picturing in my head, like a bucket, like a sand bucket, toy sand bucket from a dollar store or something.
Yep.
Punch a couple holes in the bottom, because then you can fill that thing up with that stuff and let it drain through it. And then when you go to pull it, you're not going to be squeezing and dropping that stuff back in there.
Yeah.
You'll be able to just fill the bucket and dump it. Yeah.
Don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
It's the only thing that JBL's good at.
At the same time, how much are you willing to spend on the salt for the sake of just setting up a new batch?
Well, that's it. I mean, yeah. If I can take it out, I will probably maybe use it. I might test the water as well, but it's only the crap that's in it. That was, you know what I mean? It's only the chemicals that are in it that's leached out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not anything bad. It's just unsightly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know. So like I said, what I'll do is I'll put a hose up the top here, and then just filter it straight into my filter sock down there, and put some filter floss in there.
Exactly. No, it might work out for you.
So, but it's like I said, if you can see the bottom of the tank there, the bottom of the sump, you can see it's in there as well.
Now, if you siphon that out, does it just return? Does it fall out again?
I think I got some out from the filter sock. But like I said, these are like 200 microns or something like that. They're only the polyester ones, so I can see. I don't know if you can see, but there is a little bit on there.
Yep.
If you can see that, I don't
you'd
know.
Have to, you'd have to go down to you'd have to go down to 10 microns to catch that crap.
Yeah. So by putting a filter floss in it, it'll probably do it a lot better.
You know, try laying a couple of coffee filters like Jeeves was saying across the top.
Yeah.
And see if it makes a difference if it strains that out, because it might.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But overall, looking good. You know.
Yeah. I mean, the water. I mean, to be honest with you, the water actually looks quite clear.
Apart from the bottom.
Apart from the bottom, I mean, I've gone around the tank. I don't know if you can see on the glass on the inside, but there's a few specks of it there. But I've actually gone around with a cloth inside and wiped it down, but it's just gone sticking back.
Here's the other thing. The stuff on the bottom.
Yeah.
Depending what's in that, if that was to suddenly, say you added your stock or whatever, if that was to suddenly rise up, if there was a residue, even if it was just on the bottom, and mixed in, that could give you a swing in your parameters where your salinity goes up or your alkalinity or calcium, because it's chemicals left over.
Yeah.
It could cause, if
a problem.
You had something in the tank,
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing in there. There's nothing to worry about. But if there was something in there and it hadn't mixed properly still, but you couldn't see it because the substrate was there or something else was covering it.
Yeah.
Probably for the best that you actually put it in without any substrate because it's a lot easier to get back out.
Yeah.
Yep.
You must be kicking yourself though, Raven.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you take that. It's even got water in it, but you can't even cycle it yet.
Nope.
Yeah, no. And the idea is I go away soon on holiday in about 2 weeks' time. So it was like whilst I was going to leave it to cycle, just have the pumps going, turn all the lights off. So yeah, pain in the arse.
So are you moving the contents of the other one into that one, or is this just a brand new one?
No, I will. I'll take everything out of the Nano and put it into the other one. And what I would do is I've got another tank in the kitchen at the moment. So I'm going to transfer the fish into that tank for a bit, and because I've got flatworm in the other one, and so I'll nuke that one with some flat exit. And run some carbon with it and things like that. And then what I'll do is when I then put the fish into the tank over there. I've got some rock in the other tank as well, so I'll take that out and put it in there. So that rock's never been in that tank. So I've got that cycling.
Can I give you a tip? When do you go on holiday? When do you go on holiday?
About 2 weeks' time.
In 2 weeks' time?
Yeah.
Do you know your tank you got running now without the flatworm?
Yep.
Stick some sponge into one of the filters, just some spare sponge. Then when you transfer everything over, it gives that even more of a kick start on the cycle.
From the other tank. From the other tank.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Hold up. So from the nano tank into the other tank.
Yeah, because if
yeah, I've got. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to do it. You need to do it like I think it's in 3 days' time. So do it once and then do it in 3 days and then do it again in 3 days. I think it is, if I remember right. But yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna. Yeah, everything that goes out of that tank, it'll go into the other tank, into the quarantine tank as well. That's what I'm saying. And the quarantine tank's been running for a little while now. And like I said, it's got rock in there that's never been in that tank. So like I said, I'll transfer the fish over, then I'll do all the flatworm exit and all that. I'll get all the critters out, put it in the other tank, then flatworm it, run it with like I said, with carbon in it and everything afterwards, after a little while, because you have to leave it sort of like a good like 20-30 minutes.
Yeah, you do.
Without anything running, and then add carbon, leave that running, take the carbon out,
right,
chuck a load of more carbon in, and then again rinse and repeat sort of like 3 days later.
Yeah.
So you've got one tank without flatworm.
I've got 2 tanks. Yeah, I've got basically 2 tanks: the new tank and a quarantine tank.
Okay then.
That's why I said everything's going to go from that tank into a quarantine tank.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then from a quarantine tank into the new tank.
Okay then. I didn't know. I thought you had 2 tanks running. One with.
No, I've got 3 tanks running.
Three tanks.
Basically 3 tanks running. Yeah, I've got the nano.
Is your quarantine tank cycled?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The quarantine tank is cycled.
Throw sponge in it. Honestly, throw sponge in it, and then when you go to cycle your new tank, you're giving it that jump start.
Yeah,
giving it that jump start.
That's what I'll do. I will do that. So I've got So I have got 1 tank. Yeah.
Yep.
That's going to be the new tank.
Yep.
And then if I go out here, I won't lose. Shouldn't lose. And then I have this tank.
The kitchen quarantine.
Yep.
Oh, it should come up there in a moment. You just got to talk. You can't be quiet because it doesn't show you.
Yeah. Did you see that one?
Oh, nope.
What, the quarantine tank?
Yeah, the quarantine tank. That one over there. If I go in the kitchen too far, I'll lose signal, I think.
Yeah. Nope, we can see it.
Excuse the mess. So yeah, so that's the quarantine tank, which has been running for a little while.
Is that a temporary tank or is that staying there because it's in the middle of your kitchen?
That's a borrowed tank.
There we go.
So
no, I'm not complaining. I'm going to say.
Have it there? You had your tank in the kitchen for how long?
It was a quarantine. This is why I was saying, is it going to stay there? Because there's other people in the house that might not appreciate a tank in the kitchen.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
You gotta love it when the wife gives the husband the bollocking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, lucky enough, my local LFS, my local fish shed, he lent me that one because he knew what I was doing, so he's lent me the tank.
Nice. Well, listen, guys, Paul's up. Mike and the boys are over there too. So I'm going to stop because I got some stuff I got to do here. Well, the missus has something she wants me to do, so I'm going to cut it off. It's been awesome as usual, and if I get a chance, I'll jump back onto Paul's stream there a little later. All right.
I think I'm going to head to bed.
See you later, Ronald.
Yeah, I'm going to head to bed.
Sounds good. You guys have a good night.
Sorry if I insulted you in any way.
No, just laughing at me getting in trouble.
All right, guys.
See you later on, boys.
Later, taters.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.